Check one, check two. Check one, check two, check one, check two. Attention bowlers, we are going to get started from Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. This is the Friday Night Pro League. My name is Steve Kelly, covering tonight's matchup between Riverwalk at Academy 1. Riverwalk Lanes, that is 8th place at 114 and 158, and Academy 1 is in 7th place at 118 and 154. Good as always to have you along with us. Originally live streamed on Friday, May 10th, 2024, and available for re-watching anytime upon the conclusion of tonight's match. If you're new to the Friday Night Pro League or Candlepin Bowling in general, I'd like to extend a warm welcome and hope you enjoy this match and Candlepin Bowling as a whole. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Your continued viewership is greatly appreciated. For those interested, I would like to highlight two things. First, this broadcast will be available with subtitles and live captioning, and we will be providing play-by-play action and audible descriptions as the game progresses. And meanwhile, it's Justin Scali on the left in the green with a strike, and that is JJ Tourigny on lane 6, working on a 10 box. Starting out the Friday Night Pro League. Justin Scali with a strike, and JJ Tourigny with a 9. Appreciate you watching this. We are just starting out the first game of a 3-game series. There are big playoff implications tonight, as you may have saw during the start of the stream during some of the graphics. And that's Justin Scali with a double strike, already starting out hot tonight. Incredible, as the start of a perfect game for Justin Scali. JJ Tourigny, not so lucky with a 5 drop and a miss on the spare. 1, 2, 5, 4, 7. JJ for a 10 box. Throws a little hard, takes a 9 box, 2 9s in a row for JJ, 2 strikes for Justin Scali. I'd like to welcome to the approaches Jeff Buggea and Josh Rio. And my apologies if I get Jeff's last name pronounced wrong. I am working on that. I know JJ told me what it was when we first started, and my brain is mush right now. Jeff on lane 6, dropping 5. 4 horsemen right side and the 7 pin on the deck. Josh Rio, opening ball of his first of 3. It is nearly a strike again. Are they going to go perfect for strikes? Not quite. Rio with a 9 drop. It's Jeff Buggea on the right in the red. Spare on a 5 drop. 4 horsemen right side and the 7-10. Missing it. Josh Rio for the spare. He will take a spare. Seven, 8, 9, or 10 for Jeff Buggea. And it will be a 10. He cleans up for a 10 box. This is a 2-box head-to-head style matchup, which there's the 5-man rotation. Each bowler will bowl head-to-head 2 boxes at a time before they rotate. So we will be seeing all of your favorite bowlers very frequently as they bowl 2 boxes at a time. That's Jeff Buggea dropping 9 on the 5-pin. 5-pin stands tall. We are at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Josh Rio filling a spare. 6 drop. 3, 4, 6, 10. There's Jeff Buggea for a spare leave. On the 5-pin. He takes it, plays the wood, but takes it. Spare for Buggea. Rio grabs a stick out of the 3 for his 3rd box for a 10 box. 4 and 6 pins. He picks a stick or plays the wood. Probably better to pick a stick. He will take the 6 pin and nothing else. It almost comes to take the 4, but it'll take a 9 box. We are starting out 2 out of 5 bowlers in the rotation have bowled. Currently, we have Riverwalk at 18 and Academy 1 at 19. Several marks already on the board. I'm going to say hello to Cory Aleci on lane 5 in the green and Ryan Southall in the red on lane 6. Ryan Southall with a 9 drop, leaving only the 10 pin. Cory Aleci throwing a little bit too full with this traditional spread eagle. Ryan Southall missing a spare on the 10 pin. Cory Aleci now for the spread eagle, the 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. He plays it. He leaves the 2 and the 7. Ryan Southall for his 10 box. He'll take a 9 box. Cory Aleci working on a 10 box of his own. He will take a 10. 9 for Southall, 10 for Aleci, 27 for Riverwalk, and 19 for Academy 1. Southall fires on the headpin a little bit too full. Banana split, 4, 6, 7, 10. Aleci fires on the headpin. Pin still falling. That's the 5 and the 8 pins. Southall, 4, 6, 7, 10. He fires, pin still falling, bounces around like pinball, leaves the 7 and the 10 on the deck on lane 6. Cory Aleci with the 5 and the 8 pins. For the spare, we'll take it. Cory Aleci, 20 after 2. Something is not right with the totals here, actually. We have Jeff Walsh on lane 5 in the green and Dean Sullivan on lane 6 in the red. Next bowlers in the rotation. Southall's at 18 after 2 to finish that thought. Dean Sullivan with a 6 drop. Three, 4, 5 on the diamond. Dean Sullivan defeats the diamond for a spare. Just fixing one brief thing with the scoreboard. I know what I did wrong. I'm just going to fix it. It's Jeff Walsh with a spare and a 4-fill. And then a 9 box for 23 after 2. Dean Sullivan on that spare. He had 7 and then another spare immediately following. 27. Mark Ricci taking a few out for the road. Fuller with a spare. Eight, 9, or 10 for Mark Ricci. Will it go? Not quite. Take us 9 box to start out. Just fixing a quick glitch on the scoreboard. Something weird happened there for sure. Fuller took a 6 on his spare for 16 after 1. Ricci for a spare. Just missing the head pin, or leaving the head pin, that is, Fuller. Same thing. Both bowlers versus the head pin. Just passing Ryan Southall his phone. Mark Ricci for 10. Take a 10. 19 after 2. Fuller, meanwhile, for a 9-box for 25 after 2. The totals I'm just fixing at the moment. Had one brief glitch I'm just fixing, and then we'll correct that, so I'll update you on the totals in just a moment here. Riverwalk is at 102, and Academy 1's at 123. Scali. Scali on the strike. That's a 5 fill on the first strike, because he got a double, so he didn't get a triple. He's looking to spare it up. It'll be a 9 fill on the second. So Scali's at 40. Ooh, boy. He's at 53 with that 9-box. JJ Tourigny, it's at 25 after 3. Still looking to fix that. There we go. Scali with a 9-drop on the 7-pin. JJ Tourigny on the 110. Scali for the spare. He misses it to the left. Or to the right, that is. JJ Tourigny on the head pin. Takes only the head pin, leaving the 10-pin. Both bowlers shooting for 10 boxes. Scali for his 10. Take a 9. Tourigny, similarly, will also take a 9. Riverwalk stands at 118, where Academy 1 stands at 155. Josh Rio on the right in the green. Takes a few for the road. Jeff Buggea. Lane 5 to the left of the head pin. Phil's spare with 6. Rio had a 6 on his fill. And then in the first box, my apologies about that. I'm a little behind on the scoring, so working on catching up on that as soon as I can. Josh Rio with an 8-box for 33. Josh Rio on lane 6. He drops 7, 2, 6, 10. Jeff Buggea, lane 5 on the head pin, and it's a strike. It's a hammer for Jeff Buggea. Rio will take a spare of his own on the single. Now welcoming Ryan Southall on the left in the red, and Cory Aleci on the right in the teal or green, depending on what the color looks like to you. That's Cory Aleci's opening ball on lane 6 to the left of the head pin. Dropping 6, dropping 7, dropping 8, dropping 9, dropping 10. It's a backdoor strike. Southall with a hammer of his own. Strikes all around. Two very different strikes, but it results in the same. But Cory Aleci pulling ahead. Cory Aleci filling his strike with 6. Ryan Southall take a 9 fill on his strike. Nine box for Southall, 9 box for Aleci. Nice hit. Jeff Walsh dropping 7, Dean Sullivan dropping a left side washout. Walsh on the spare, and he gets it. Dean Sullivan taking a few more out for the road. He's left with the 5, 6, 3, 7 on the deck. Dean Sullivan shooting for a 10 box. Sullivan at a 3 on his fill and an 8 box total. Still working on that. Almost fixed it, but working my way through it. Jeff Walsh with a strike. Again, my totals are a little off on the Sullivan will settle for a spare. Saying settle for a spare sounds very odd, but that's what happened. We have Mark Ricci on the left in the red and Bryan Fuller Jr. on the right. Bryan Fuller with the teal, taking out 3 on the left side on lane 6. Mark Ricci dropping 5. An 8 box for Fuller. Again, I'll have more commentary in a little bit. I'm just trying to fix something real quick. Mark Ricci will take a 10. Currently, Riverwalk stands actually at 202 under Academy 1's 246. Okay, actually, we are caught up now. Sorry about the delay in the commentary there. I had to make a very quick edit to the actual score sheet. Had a really odd glitch that I just fixed, and we are in sync in the with CompuScore on the totals now. Mark Ricci missing the 4 and the 5. And he's now shooting for a 10 box. He's got to pick a stick. For the 10 box, he's shooting for the 10. He'll take a 9. All right, so we are at 256 for Academy 1, and we are at 211 for Riverwalk. Academy 1 up by 45 at this point in the game against Riverwalk. We have JJ Tourigny now on lane 6. JJ fires. dropping 6. That's the 5, 6, 3, 10. Justin Scali off to the left with a left side washout. Tourigny on the right side, Verizon check mark. He takes the 3 and the 3 pin only out. Scali releases very smooth ball. That was an admirably smooth ball. He leaves only the 5 pin. JJ will take an 8. Tourigny, that is, will take an 8. Scali for a 9 or a 10. And what'll it be? It'll be a 10 for Scali. Scali's at 72 after 5. Tourigny at 42 after 5. Academy 1 stands at 266 game total and match total. Riverwalk at 219. Tourigny on the head pin. He's on it. Pin still falling. 7-10. Scali drops another hammer. Call him Thor, because Scali is on it with the strikes tonight. And Tourigny will take a spare of his own, though. Not taking that sitting down. So Tourigny's at 52 after 6. Scali's at 82 after 6. We have Riverwalk at 229, and we have Academy 1 at 276. I thank you for bearing with me on the score issue there. And looks like we're over the hump now, and now we are completely back in sync. So we're going to say hi to Jeff Buggea and Josh Rio. They are the second bowlers in the 5-bowler rotation. They bowl 2 boxes at a time. We have Jeff Buggea with 45 on a strike, Josh Rio 43 on a spare. Buggea fires all but the 7 pin. Josh Rio filling a spare. Josh Rio looking to fill his spare. He fills it with 9. Buggea filling second ball on the strike fill, and he's looking to shoot for the spare, and he'll do it. Keeping the train rolling with a spare. Rio looking to do the same, and he does. Spares all around. So that puts Jeff Buggea at 65 plus a ball. Josh Rio at 62 plus a ball. Academy 1 at 295. Riverwalk at 249. That's your score update provided by Candlepin Bowling Network. CBN, the place to watch the bowlers. Jeff Buggea on the head pin, dropping 7, an awkward 7. So that will be a 7 fill. 7's all round. Josh Rio now looking to do the same. A follow-up, he'll take an 8 fill. JF fires. Be a difficult spare shot. It was on the 2, 6, and 8. Rio on the 2-4, and he'll take it. Rio at 80 plus a ball after 6. Buggea for a 10. Take a 10. 82 after 6. 313 to 266 at this time. Academy 1 pulling ahead by 47 in the game and match at this time. Southall. He fires. He's 1, 2, 6, 10. Aleci. 6 drop. Southall. 1, 2, 6, 10 for the spare. Plenty of wood. Good leave. He gets it. Aleci trying to do the same. He can't run down the last of the 4 horsemen. Takes 75% of them down, leaving just the 6 pin. Cory Aleci thinking long and hard about this 10-box opportunity versus the 6 pin at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's Cory Aleci and Ryan Southall down there. I'm Steve Kelly up here. Pleasure having you along with us. That's a 9-box for Cory Aleci. 276 to 322. Academy 1 ahead. It's an 8 drop for Ryan Southall on his fill. Aleci dropping 8. Southall will take another spare. 74 and 6 for Ryan Southall. Or Aleci for his spare. Take it as well. $74 plus a ball for Aleci. Currently, Riverwalk stands at 294, and Academy 1 is still ahead at 332 at this time. Jeff Walsh and Bryan Fuller Jr. pulling in the weight for Academy 1 for the most part. It's Dean Sullivan with a 9 drop. 9 on his spare, for that matter. And for the strike field for Jeff Walsh, he opens for with a 6 drop. Dean Sullivan shooting at a single pin spare on the 7, and he'll take it. He's all over it for a spare. Jeff Walsh will do it as well. There's a spare on strike for Jeff Walsh. Dean Sullivan on his spare fill. That's a wow. It's a 3 fill, oddly enough. Jeff Walsh's spare fill is a 7. Wow, both of these leaves. Dean Sullivan, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. My goodness. You just got to shoot at one of the frontmost pin pockets. He'll take out the left side, leaving the right side check mark. Jeff Walsh, 7, 9, 10 that he's shooting for. He'll miss them all. He'll miss the wood. He'll go through the goalposts of the 9 and 10. Dean Sullivan trying to clean up for a 10 box. It's the best he can do, but he will do it. Precisely that. Jeff Walsh will take a 9. So presently, we are at 368 to 326. Academy up by 42. Mark Ricci on lane 6. Fires. Play action. Misses the head pin to the left, but drops 6 regardless. 1, 3, 4, 7. Bryan Fuller Jr. dropping 9, leaving the 10 pin. Only the 10 pin. We have Mark Ricci on the right in the red. 1, 3, 4, 7. He'll lightly hit the 1, 3 pocket. 7 dropping, 4 is left on the deck. Fuller Jr. for the 10 on the 10 pin for the spare. He'll hit the head pin, or he'll hit the wood in front of it, but the ball and the dead wood will caress themselves far away from the 10 pin. 10 for Fuller, 9 for Ricci. Academy 1 up by 52. Mark Ricci on the head pin, a little bit too full. The 3 and the 4 pins are what he has to play with some wood. Bryan Fuller on the head pin, better leave, 6-10. 8 drops for both. Neither of those balls were on a fill. Mark Ricci thinking long and hard about which ball he's going to use for the spare opportunity, the spare leave. 3 and the 4. Ricci will nail the 3 pin and only the 3 pin. Bryan Fuller Jr. for his spare. He'll take that spare. Ricci will check 10. I believe we are in sync. 345 to 397. Academy 1 up in the game and the match by 52. We have 4 boxes to go before we conclude this first game of the 3-game series in the Friday Night Pro League. Riverwalk versus Academy 1. That's Justin Scali in the teal on the right on lane 6, and that's JJ Tourigny in the red room in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Both bowlers with left side half Worcesters to shoot at. Justin Scali on the 1-3 pocket, but somehow not enough. 7-10, 4-5. JJ Tourigny will sail the ball through the hole where the half Worcester plus DLC once stood. 4 horse on the right side and the 4 and the 7. Justin Scali reconciling for a 9 box. JJ will take an 8.
All right, Scout, right here. Let's go.
So it was a 4 fill on JJ's spare and an 8 overall. Scali took a 6 fill on the strike for 97 and 7. JJ sits at 64 and 7. Scali to the left side lemon drop. That's the 4-pin, the 4-pin only. JJ Tourigny on the head pin and only the head pin, but he gets some extra to go for a spread eagle. Spread eagle plus DLC. Justin Scali to the right of the head pin this time. He's having some trouble hitting the head pin now. JJ Tourigny will take a few more out for the road. Pin still falling. Pin still falling. Somehow almost converted the spread eagle for a spare, left only at the 2-pin. Almost stole it there. 10 box opportunity for Justin Scali. He'll take all but the head pin out. And JJ Tourigny will do the same. 10 boxes all around. $74 after 8 for JJ, 107 after 8 for Justin Scali. We are at 367 for Riverwalk and 422 for Academy 1. That is a confirmed score. In sync with CompuScore, which is the score system used at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. It's what I inspired my score system off of. Tried to get as close as I possibly could when recreating it in Excel with fonts and such. Hope it's legible, hope it's readable, hope it makes sense. Had one glitch I already had to fix and may have to fix it again for the second game, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That's the 9 drop for Josh Rio. It's a 9 fill on a spare. Jeff Buggea with a 5 drop center diamond and 10 pin. Josh Rio will take a 10 box, spare, that is, excuse me. Lots of marks tonight, 99 plus a ball. Jeff Buggea. He breaks the diamond and breaks the 10. It's a spare for Buggea as well. Going box for box. 441 for Academy 1, 377 for Riverwalk at this time. 64 is the point differential for Academy 1. Josh Rio on the right on lane 6. It's a 6 drop. 13710. Jeff Buggea. On the pocket. I can't quite tell if that was a little bit too full or a little bit too wide, but he's left with the 5 and the 6. It's an 8 fill for Buggea and a 6 fill for Rio. There's some consultation going on how to play it. Mark Ricci, and with the all-time high candlepin triple. If he gives you advice, you listen to it. Jeff Buggea versus the 5 and the 6. This room got very quiet all of a sudden. This is the only Friday Night Pro League team playing here tonight, so we kind of have the room to ourselves here at the Red Room in Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Rio, lightly on the head pin. Unfortunately, it's not enough. 3-7-10 for Rio. Buggea, the 10. Take the 10. Rio will take a 7. 395 to 454. Academy 1 up by 59. Still a little bit of a ways to go here in the first game. This first of 3 games tonight. We welcome back Ryan Southall and Cory Aleci to the approaches. Cory Aleci dropping 6, dropping 7, dropping 8. Will it be 9? Just 8. 2-4. Southall, known for strikes on the head pin. It's a wide leave. That's the 8-10. Cory Aleci versus the 2 and the 4 pins for a spare, and he'll get it. Play the wood in a rather unorthodox manner, but he'll take it regardless. Southall, no such luck. It was a difficult leave, but he'll take an 8 on his spare as well. Southall for the 10 box. He'll take 10. 472 to 413 at this point in the game. Academy up by 59 in the match still. Point differential is hovering between the high 50s and low 60s. So Riverwalk will have some ground to make up for sure. Cory Aleci takes 7 on that fill. Southall. Difficult leave. Southall will check 1. 1 more for the road. And Aleci, the 4-5-7 for the 10 box. Take a 9. Good 9, as his teammate says. Southall will take an 8. Where does that leave us? That leaves us at 488 to 421 at this point in the game. We have Dean Sullivan now, along with Jeff Walsh. Dean Sullivan in the left and the red on lane 5, and Jeff Walsh in the teal on lane 6. Eight drops for both. 1-3 for Walsh. Take those 2 out for the road for a spare. Sullivan will do the same. The result remains the same. So spares for both, matching box for box. 498 to 431. Academy up by 67. Jeff Walsh on lane 6, filling a spare. 4 spares, 1 strike for the game for Jeff Walsh. He drops 8. Good spare fill of 8. We have Dean Sullivan on lane 5 to the left of the head pin. That's a 5 fill, 4 horsemen right side in the 8 pin. 95 and 8. Jeff Walsh at 107 and 7. Jeff Walsh versus the 710 with Wood. I don't know how it's going to go. He made an attempt. He made an offer, but the offer was not accepted. Left with the 710. Dean Sullivan versus the 1-3-6, 8-10. A little bit too full on the 1 and the 8, leaving the 3-6-10. Walsh for an 8, 9, or 10, and he'll take an 8. Dean Sullivan, 7, 8, 9, or 10. He'll take 9. 514 to 445. 69 is the point differential. Academy 1 pulling ahead against Riverwalk in the first game. It's first of 3. Plenty of bowling here to go, folks, so stay tuned here in the Friday Night Pro League on Candlepin Bowling Network, the place to watch the bowlers. It's Bryan Fuller Jr. in the teal on the right on lane 6, and Mark Ricci in the red on lane 5 here in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Fuller Jr. washing out, shallow washout, and Mark Ricci with a strike. Fuller Jr., the pressure is on now. Making an attempt at the spare, Fuller Jr. is left with the 3-5-6. So it was a 3 fill on to spare, and he'll take a 10. 85. 527 to 455. Academy is up by 72. Academy 1, that is. The gap is increasing ever so slightly. Fuller dropping 6. 5, 6, 3, 9. Mark Ricci, first ball, the strike fill is off to the right, dropping 6 so far with 1 to go. Good thing you get 2. Fuller for the spare. The diamond wins again, taking out the back half of the diamond. Mark Ricci, the owner of Riverwalk Lanes, he'll take a 9 on a strike. That's a 10 box for Fuller Jr. Mark Ricci will take a 10 as well. There we go. 537 to 474. Academy up by 63. Funny story about Mark Ricci. I remember when I walked into Riverwalk to do an ACST match, I remember it was like 8:30 at night. I was going to face Rob Brown, and Mark Ricci was chugging a Dunkin' coffee at like 8:30 at night. I was like, that is probably the most North Shore kind of guy I think I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't matter what time it is, he's chugging a Dunkin' coffee. That's JJ Tourigny with some backdoor action. The 1-3-7-8, and that's Justin Scali. Neither bowler's on fills. He's left with the, looks like the 4 and the 6 for Scali with wood. Tourigny trying to catch the 1 and the 3 to take the 7 and the 8. Only the 1 and 3 go. Scali on the 4 and the 6. See what he can do with this one. See how Scali can spin it. Tried to play it on the right side. No such luck. Tourigny trying to take out everything. He take one stick, but the ball's still moving. See what happens. Ball's still on the deck. That's an 8 box for Scali and a 9 box for Tourigny. My goodness. Laughing about that one. 545 for Academy 1, 483 for Riverwalk. 62 is the lead for Academy 1. Tourigny, play action, 1-2-7-9 on the first ball. Scali trying to match, and he does and exceeds 1-7-8. Tourigny for the spare. Off the head pin to the left. Takes 2 out, leaves 2. Take a penny, leave a penny. Scali on the 1-7-8. Hits hard on the head pin, a little way too hard. Left with the 7 pin. For the 10 box for Tourigny, he'll take a 9. Scali 9 or 10. Tourigny will finish the first game with a 92. Scali finished with a 9 as well for 124. And that is the end of the first game for the first bowlers of the 5 bowler rosters. They still have bowlers 2, 3, 4, and 5 on each side to conclude their last 2 boxes. Thank you for watching the Friday Night Pro League. I'm Steve Kelly. Thank you for watching. If you want to see what's going on down in Peabody, we have Greg Goulart and Bob Lee and Paul Grant. Ryan Southall wanted to know the updates on Metro. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can multitask that easily. Anyways, that's Jeff Buggea with an 8 drop, and Josh Rio with a 6 drop. Neither of those balls are on fills. Buggea with 110, Rio with 112 so far. No spare for Buggea. Rio on the 1-2-4-10. Takes out only the head pin and nothing else. Jeff Buggea shooting for a 10 box on the head pin. He sends it. He takes it. 10 box for Jeff. For Josh Rio, we'll take 2 for the road and leave 1 for a 9 box. That puts Academy 1 at 563 and Riverwalk at 502. 1 box to go before the bowlers in the second roster complete their first game of 3. Jeff Buggea on lane 6 is on the head pin. I was about to say 2-4-7, but the 2 fell late. Josh Rio. It's a very interesting kind of approach. It's like he has a very strong, like almost pitcher's kind of wind up. Like his right arm, if you watch his right arm, it wildly swings. So that's the 1-2-8-6-10 for Josh Rio to shoot at, and that's the 4-7 for Jeff Buggea. Shooting for his spare, and he gets it. That's a spare for Buggea. Needed that one for Riverwalk. Oops. It's 130 plus a ball for Buggea. Definitely pulling his weight. Josh Rio. He's going to beat his man, Josh Rio. Man-to-man defense. 6-10 for Josh Rio. He's going to take a 9. Puts his soul into it, but he'll finish with 130. So Jeff Buggea, unless he whiffs this ball, he's going to take the first game against Josh Rio, at least. JJ Tourigny falling to Justin Scali, 92 to 124. Jeff Buggea filling a spare here. And it's going to be a 7 fill for Jeff Buggea. That puts him at 137. So that puts Riverwalk at 519, down 53 to Academy 1's 572. Currently, Academy 1 is on track to take 2 points for the first game, but we won't know that for sure until we get to the end of the first game. Southall on lane 6. Something was a little off about that ball. I threw it a little lighter. 1-3-8-10. Aleci drops a bunch. 1-3-7. Southall punches way too hard on the headpin. The headpin only 3-8-10. Aleci on the 1-3-7 for a spare. See if Cory Aleci can do it. He fires. He takes it. That's a spare for Cory Aleci. Southall will clean up for a 10 box. And that puts Academy 1 at 582 and Riverwalk at 529, excuse me, at the moment. Southall misses the headpin but drops 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aleci on the headpin as well, on the pocket, 1-3 pocket, leaves the 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Southall for his spare. Will it go? He tries. He leaves the 3-pin. Aleci, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Can it go? Will he take it? Because got to play the wood. Tries it. 5-pin's going to fall. Cory Aleci will take a spare. Southall will take a 9. Southall will finish with 119. Cory Aleci is at 130. 133 plus a ball? No, something's not right with that. Take a look at that in a moment. That's an 8 fill for Cory Aleci. Oops, excuse me. Oh, that is right. CompuScore does a weird thing with its totals, so for a second I thought I was off, but actually I was not. So it's Cory Aleci will finish with 142, Ryan Southall will finish with 119, 606 for Academy 1, and 538 for Riverwalk. 68 is the point differential for Academy 1. It's slowly creeping up. That's Dean Sullivan on the right in the red, dropping 6. 3, 6, 4, 10 for Sullivan. Walsh. 1-2 pocket. Pin still falling. He's left with a 3 and the 10. Spare leaves possible for both of our bowlers. Dean Sullivan will attempt his first. Plays the 3 left. Left with the 4-10. Meanwhile, Jeff Walsh is left with the 3 and the 10 pins. No spare for Dean Sullivan. Jeff Walsh could pull ahead. Could bring Academy 1's lead even further if he could take the spare. This is an opportunity. He's thinking long and hard about it. It's Jeff Walsh on pins 3 and 10 on lane 5. At Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, he fires. He's off to the right of the 3-pin, but the piece of wood is coming back. Pins wiggling. 3 pins wiggling. Dean Sullivan versus the 4 and the 10 pins. Will it come back to get it? It almost does. That's the thing about the red room at Academy Lanes. You get weird pin action and weird wiggly pins. So it looks like Dean Sullivan will take a 9 box and Walsh will take a 10 box. Dean Sullivan on lane 6. He fires on the head pin. He's left with the 7 and the 9 with some wood. It may or may not help him. Jeff Walsh on the head pin awkward leaves 7, 8, 9, 6. That's a Greek church. Dean Sullivan. And he takes 1 out for the road and leaves 1. No spare for Dean Sullivan. Jeff Walsh, similar situation. Not much he could have done with that one. It's going to be a 9 or 10 for Dean Sullivan with a maximum of 123 game for him. Sullivan will take a 10 for 123. Walsh, meanwhile, take 2 more out for a 9. That puts Academy 1 at 625. Riverwalk at 557 with 2 boxes to go for the anchor bowlers before we move on to the second game. Thank you for watching the Friday Night Pro League, the Riverwalk Academy 1 edition. I don't know if this is the game of the week, but this is a game of the week. Mark Ricci, dropping 6. He's off to the left of the head pin. That's the 1, 7, 8, 10. Bryan Fuller Jr. will take a hammer strike. His teammate remarks, "I love when you listen to me." Mark Ricci. Difficult spare leave, and the pins are still falling. He makes a valiant attempt at it, but he leaves the 10 pin. It's going to be a 9 or 10 box for Mark Ricci, pending this third ball on the 10 pin. Mark Ricci on lane 6. Academy lanes. Haverhill, Massachusetts. He'll take a 10. Second 10 in a row. At 96 and 9 for Ricci, and 105 plus a ball for Bryan Fuller Jr. 635 for Academy 1, 567 for Riverwalk. Ricci fires, play action, a little bit too full in the head pin, spread eagle minus the 7 pin. That's a 5 down so far, and that's a 2 fill. That's a spread eagle for Bryan Fuller Jr. 2 fill on the first ball, the strike fill so far. We don't count it to the second ball, though. That's why you get 2. Mark Ricci trying to break the eagle for a spare. He doesn't do it. He's looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Bryan Fuller Jr. trying to break the eagle as well and has very similar not luck. It's a 5 fill total for Fuller. Be a 6 box for Ricci. Fuller Jr. will clean up for a 10. That's it for the first game. 650 to 573. Academy 1 will take the first game. 2 points for Academy. So that is what we got for the first game here. Bear with me one moment while I just do a quick maintenance move on just one part of the scoreboard. I'm just going to scroll it around for just a moment. Bear with me. I will give you updates. Just a moment. Just don't want to run into the same problem I had in the first game. And that's a strike for JJ Tourigny to start out with. And Scali with ugly 4 to 10 box possibility here. No fire, no miss. That might be a 4 box for Scali. JJ might smell blood in the water right here. JJ and Ryan Southall with a friendly teammate rivalry, psyching each other up with very fun words for one another. Scali trying to recover from a 4 box. Dropping 7, way more than 4. 1, 3, 7. JJ Tourigny drops 189. The 189 special for JJ Tourigny. 137 for Scali for a spare leave. And he'll try to get it, but he won't. JJ Tourigny, meanwhile, will take a few more for the road. That's a 6 fill on his strike. And Scali working on something. He'll take a 10 box. JJ for a 79 or 10. He'll take a 7. 23 after 2 for JJ. 14 after 2 for Scali. Academy 1 is up in the match by 68. 664 to 596. Academy took the first game. Riverwalk is up in the second game by 9. Josh Rio on lane 6 in the teal. And Jeff Buggea in red on lane 5 here in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I'm Steve Kelly back here. Pleasure as always to have you along on the stream. This special coverage of this Friday Night Pro League match between two teams that are very close to each other. And whichever team wins, there's going to be a wild timeline split in terms of who goes to the playoffs and who does not. And there are also potential for ties and one-game roll-offs if the cards fall correctly. Josh Rio, no spare. He's left with a 6 pin. Jeff Buggea, 1-3-6. Will he get it? He will not. And that's the 3 and the 6 for Jeff Buggea. Both bowlers shooting for 10 boxes now. Josh Rio will take a 10. Buggea, bouncy ball, takes a 10 box as well. That will put Academy 1 at 674 over Riverwalk 606. That's a 68-point differential. Academy 1 overall. Riverwalk still up in the game by 9. Josh Rio, lane 6. Lemon drop left side, 4-pin and 4-pin only is what goes down. Jeff Buggea on lane 5. Not much better. He takes out the 2 and the 8. Ugly, ugly spare leaves for both of our bowlers here at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts in the red room. Traditional all-wood approaches and all-wood lanes here in the red room. It's a bit of a difficult set of lanes for certain bowlers. Academy Lanes has 3 different rooms, red, blue, and green. Green room is all synthetic. The blue room is kind of a hodgepodge of both, and the red room is all wood and all wood approaches, all wood lanes. Scoring software at Academy Lanes is CompuScore. It's an oldie but a goodie. Josh Rio will take an 8 box. Jeff Buggea, meanwhile, looking at a 7-8-9-4 split. And he shoots. Takes a 9. That's 682 for Academy 1, up by 67 over Riverwalk 615, but Riverwalk still retains the second game by 10. Riverwalk is going to need to really pick up the pace to retain the total and the remaining 2 games. Cory Aleci drops 8, the 2 and the 4. Southall off to the right of the headpin, 1-7-10 after all is said and done here. Aleci versus the 2 and the 4. And he shoots. He'll take a spare. That's Cory Aleci. Southall will take all but the headpin. Takes the 7 and the 10 to the 1-7-10 high-low jack with wood for a 10 box, and he'll take a 10. So the point differential is still 67 by Academy. That's roughly where it mostly ended up going after the first game. And Riverwalk has been chasing them ever since. Riverwalk is going to have a blockbuster game 2 and 3 by the looks of it. Ryan Southall on the 1-3 pocket, and Cory Aleci with an ugly, ugly 5-drop. Ryan Southall with a triangle on the left side, the 2-4-5. 1-7-10-8, and I forget what the other pin was. Cory Aleci doesn't get the spare. That's the short of it. Cory Aleci will drop 5. Or Cory Aleci has a 5 on the spare. And he'll take a 9 box. Southall will take an 8 box. Your score update, we have Academy 1 at 706 and Riverwalk at 633. Currently, we have Academy 1 up in the match by 73. Riverwalk still up in the second game by 4, so they're splitting 2 points if we ended the game right now. And didn't count for the total, of course. Walsh, a little bit too hard on the head pin. 7-8-10-3-6 are what we're looking at. Dean Sullivan on the head pin, the 1-2 pocket. Not a much better leave for himself. Dean Sullivan's a 7-8-10-6. 7-8-10-6-3 for Jeff Walsh, but he has some wood to help him. He might be able to get this. Oh, but the wood doesn't play. It spins, but doesn't do all that much. The 8-10 for Jeff Walsh. Dean Sullivan is discussing with his team, with Mark Ricci, the man you want advice from in terms of what to do. He's saying it's a 50-50 shot playing some wood. If you ask me, I'd play the left of the horizontal wood. Sometimes you just got to turn your brain off and bowl. Dean Sullivan will take out the 3 on the right side. He doesn't play the wood at all. He's left with the 7-pin, the 7-pin only. Both bowlers shooting for 10 boxes. Walsh will take a 10 box. Sullivan for a 9 or a 10, and he'll take a 10 box of his own. That puts Academy 1 at 716 to Riverwalk 643, up in the match by 73. And that is correct. I love it when I'm in sync with the scoreboard. I get worried as the match goes on if I fall behind, but we haven't done that tonight. That's Jeff Walsh with a banger of a first ball. He drops off with a 5-pin. Dean Sullivan off to the left of the head pin, dropping 5. 4 horsemen right side in the 8-pin. Jeff Walsh versus the 5-pin for a single pin spare. He misses it to the left. He knew what he did. Overthrew it a little bit. Dean Sullivan to the left of the head pin, takes out 3 of the 5 pins on the deck, leaving the 3 and the 6. Walsh for a 9 or 10. He'll take a 10. 2 strikes, or excuse me, two 10s for Walsh. Dean Sullivan will take an 8. 7:26 to 6:51. Academy 1 still up in the match by 75. Riverwalk holding on to the second game lead by 2. At this point in the match, I'm Steve Kelly. It's a pleasure to have you along. Having a couple of just mostly visual glitches with the scoreboard at this point, but the math is all correct, thank goodness. We had a slight math error with the scoreboard at the first game, but that's since been fixed. And just the formatting just got a little weird, but hey, I'll take that over everything else. Mark Ricci dropping what ends up being 8, 2 and 7. Opening ball, 6 drop for Fuller. Fuller will spare that 6 drop. Or he won't spare it. Or he'll cause a spare by not sparing the pins. Candlepin terminology is funny. And Ricci will take a spare of his own. That puts Academy 1 at 736 and Riverwalk at 661. Second game total still for grabs. Game 2 total is 88 for Riverwalk and 86 for Academy 1. Finish that thought. 5 fill for Ricci, 6 fill for Fuller. Fuller will spare it, and Ricci trying to match, but he can't quite do it. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Mark Ricci. Living legend, Mark Ricci. Take a 10 box. Where does that leave us? 752 to 676. That is confirmed. Academy 1 up in the match by 76. Riverwalk holding on to the game lead by 1. We're still at a point where the point total differential can still sway in anyone's direction. If anyone gets hot, if any particular bowler really starts throwing their best or exceeding their best by a lot, but JJ Tourigny will drop 4. Justin Scali will wash out the right side. JJ trying to spare it up. He's left with a 3, 9, 10. Scali will spare his awkward washout remains.
Welcome back.
Teammate remarks, welcome back. You might have heard that behind me. JJ Tourigny for a 7. With 1 to go before these 2 bowlers sit. Again, the Friday Night Pro League format is 5 people to a team, and each bowler bowls 2 boxes at a time before they sit in a 5-person rotation. So you get to see your favorite bowlers that much more often, as opposed to the ACST format or most tournament formats where it's 5 boxes at a time. Makes things a little more exciting. That's a 6 fill on Scali's spare, by the way. JJ Tourigny, I thank JJ for giving me a ride down here tonight. He's struggling to get his spares right now. 7, 8, 9, 5 for Tourigny for a 10 box, and Scali is looking at the 5, 10. The right side setback. Tourigny will clean up for a 10. It's all about the pinning in team Candlepin for the most part. That's a 9 box for Scali. 777, the lucky number for Academy 1, up by 84 over Riverwalk. Academy 1 has now overtaken in the game lead by 7 as well. 120 to 177 for Game 2 in particular, in case you're wondering. Saying hello to Josh Rio and Jeff Buggea. Jeff Buggea on the right on the red, Josh Rio in the left in the teal. Jeff Buggea On the 1-2 pocket, nearly a strike. That pesky 5-pin remains on the deck. Josh Rio firing on the head pin as well, but his will be a strike. Jeff Buggea for a single pin, 5-pin spare opportunity, and he'll take it. Offer accepted. Puts Jeff Buggea at 29 plus a ball after 3, and 28 plus a fill ball, 2 fill balls for Josh Rio. 787 to 703. And we're going to pause for lane maintenance real quick while we do that. So yes, the match format here, as you can see, we're, in case you don't know, 35-week regular season. This is week 35 of 35 for the Friday Night Pro League. 12 teams, top 8 make the playoffs, and that is important tonight for these two teams in particular. They are very close in the standings. If we have some time later on, I'll show you the slide with the standings to give you kind of a visualization in case you missed it earlier on in the stream. Jeff Buggea, 1, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10. That's a 4 fill after all said and done. 7 so far for Josh Rio. Buggea fires, play action. On the object pocket, leaves the 7-pin and the 7-pin only. So no spare for Buggea. Josh Rio, the 6, 8, 10. See if we can get a spare on strike. Oh, and he misses it. Nerves or something got to him there. That's an 8 fill on the strike for 36 after 3. Jeff Buggea will take a 10 box. Rio will take a 10 box as well. That should put us at 8:05 to 7:17. Yes, that is correct. And then in the game, it's 155 to 144. Academy 1 ahead everywhere. 88, up by 88 in the match and 11 in the game. Second game, that is. Academy took the first game. Academy 1 took the first game, that is. Ryan Southall off to the left of the head pin, dropping 5. 4 Horston right side plus a friend. The 9 pin, that is. Cory Aleci, strong hit on the head pin, but he's left with the 5 and the 8. Southall for the spare. He's left with all but the 9 pin. No spare for Southall. Aleci for a spare. His spare bid. He'll take it. Offer accepted. Aleci's second spare of the night. Southall will take a 10, though. Some fun facts. The one with the most spares tonight is Cory Aleci, 7 spares and 1 strike. It's Justin Scali with 3 strikes, the current leader of strikes tonight. Ryan Southall drops all but the 9 and the 10. No wood to help him. Aleci, well, actually there is some wood, is deciding where it wants to land. Aleci dropping all but the 1, the 6, and the 10 pins on the deck. This is the Friday Night Pro League. Academy 1 versus Riverwalk. I'm Steve Kelly. Pleasure to have you along. That's Ryan Southall in the red on lane 6 and Cory Aleci in the teal on lane 5. Right and left, respectively. I know their shirt colors don't match the scoreboard colors. My apologies about that. The scoreboard colors are predetermined. The shirt colors are out of my control. Ryan Southall doesn't get a spare. Cory Aleci will, though. So he took a 7 on the spare fill and adds another spare to his ledger. It's a 9 box for Ryan Southall. 8:32 to 7:36. Academy 1 is up in the match by 96 now. That gap is getting wider and wider and wider. And in the game, Academy is up by 19 for the second game of 3. We're just starting to approach the 5th box, which is going to be the exact halfway point in this match. We have Dean Sullivan in the red on the right. Jeff Walsh on the left. And Dean Sullivan opens with a strike. Dean Sullivan with a strike. Jeff Walsh, not on a fill or anything. He drops what looks like 5. It's the 1, 3, 6, 7, and 9 Spare opportunity for Jeff Walsh. Will he get it? Hit the outside of the pocket. Pins are wobbling, still wobbling. Really should have gone, but hey, that's Candlepin bowling for you. Sometimes the most gimme shots don't go. Jeff Walsh playing defense for the 10 box. Works hard for that 10 box, but he will get the 10 box. That's triple X. 3 10s in a row, 30 after 3 for Jeff Walsh, and 28 after 3 plus a fill for Dean Sullivan. Dean Sullivan, first ball of the strike fill. 4 horseman right side plus the 7 pin. Jeff Walsh to the right of the head pin takes a bunch of pins out. It's like a bouquet plus, a washout plus. 1, 2, 5, 4, 8, 9 for Jeff Walsh, and Dean Sullivan working on the 4 horseman right side, and a back row pin leaves the 6 pin, no spare. Jeff Walsh for a spare, and he blasts it. He blasts it good for a spare. Dean Sullivan will take a 9 fill on a strike and a 9 box. And that puts us at 852 for Academy 1 and 764 for Riverwalk. Academy 1 up by 88 in the match and up by 11 in the second game. Mark Ricci to the right of the head pin. Pin still falling. Pin still falling. 4-7 is what he's left with. 8 drop. Bryan Fuller Jr. a little bit too full on the head pin. Spread eagle minus the 3 pin. 4-6 to 7-10. Mark Ricci thinking long and hard about this. One thing I've learned about Mark Ricci is he takes a long time to analyze and very carefully decide what he wants to do. Man with the highest recorded triple in Candlepin at the moment. I believe him. I think it was 520 or so. Someone please verify that for me. Bryan Fuller Jr. trying to make a play but can't quite do it. 2-6-10. So that's a spare for Mark Ricci. And Fuller will take a 7. Fuller Jr., that is. $8.59 to $7.74. Saying the value of the autograph is going down right now. I don't know who that was in reference to, but definitely wouldn't be Mark Ricci if we're judging by these 2 boxes that were just thrown. Mark Ricci on lane 6. Little full. That's a 5 fill. Spread eagle minus the 7. Fuller Jr. spread eagle of his own. A full spread eagle, the traditional academic spread eagle, the 4-pin version. There's a 2-pin version, a 3-pin version, and a 4-pin version. Mark Ricci has a broken injured eagle. Take one more out for the row with no spare. Bryan Fuller Jr. versus the eagle. He picked the 3-6 pocket, but he missed the 3 part of the 3-6 pocket. Both bowlers shooting for 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And Ricci will take a 9. Fuller will also take a 9, making my job easy. 9 box for both of them. 868 to 788 is the current total, in case you're wondering. Total is provided by Candlepin Bowling Network, CBN, the place to watch the bowlers. Academy in the game, they're only up by 3, and they're up in the match by 80. So I will never say that it's insurmountable in terms of the match total, but it is starting to sort of get away from Riverwalk. Riverwalk did not take the first game. We're midway through the second game here. And JJ Tourigny working on a strike bid, and he nearly gets it. Scali with effectively a lemon drop. Scali trying to convert it to a spare. No success. JJ Tourigny versus the 6-pin. Tourigny will clean up for his spare. I'm happy if he's happy because he's my ride home. That's 50 plus a ball for Tourigny. Scali 1-2-10. For a 10 box. He'll take it. Cleans up. 10 box. Can't help but feel a little bit of frustration there on Scali's part, but hey, that's Candlepin. He started with a lemon drop, so lemon drop is when you take out only the 4-pin or only the 6-pin. It's one of Paul Grant's labeled shots where if you agree to it, you'll donate $1 to Candlepins for Cancer every time you do it. Justin Scali will drop 6, drop 7, left side diamond minus the 5-pin. JJ Tourigny dropping 5 on his spare fill. 55 after 5 for JJ Tourigny. 49 after 5 for Justin Scali. Scali for the spare. He misses to the right. Tourigny on the 4 horseman left side plus the 10. He's a little bit too full on the head pin. I was talking with JJ Tourigny on the ride down here, and he was saying, and we were discussing the notion that when you're bowling in a team environment, when you're going head-to-head box for box, sometimes it might be nerves because, before I get ahead of myself, this is 9 box for Scali and a 7 box for Tourigny. The thing about bowling in a team environment is that if you're going head-to-head against someone, sometimes you might not be used to the cadence they bowl at, and if they bowl faster than you, you might feel the need to rush or match them, and sometimes that can matter because if you're bowling in something like a slower format, like you're rolling off or in the ACST or anything like that, that can kind of affect the way you bowl. So it's very interesting if you get into the philosophy of that. Josh Rio dropping 6, dropping 7. He missed the head pin, but pins are still falling. He's left with all but a wiggly 10 pin. Jeff Buggea now on lane 5 in the red. And he drops 6, right side Verizon check mark. 5, 6, 3, 10. Let's see what we got. Single pin spare opportunity for Josh Rio. He'll take it. Spare for Josh Rio, rather easily obtained. Jeff Buggea versus the 3, 5, 6, 10. Academy Lanes, Haverhill, Massachusetts. And he's on it. Doesn't take the 10, though. I probably wouldn't have played it any differently. You got to pick a pocket of that check mark and go for it. For the 10 box, Jeff will take a 9. 897 to 819. Academy 1's match lead has dipped a little bit down to 78 from the 80s. Still up in the game by 1, though. Thank you for watching. I'm Steve Kelly, and that's Riverwalk and Academy 1. Both teams bowling for playoff aspirations. I know Bob Lee was talking about many different possibilities in terms of how things could shake out. And basically there were so many, and folks that are smarter than I can probably discuss it in the comments in terms of how crazy some of that can get. In terms of who ties, who wins, who loses, who is in the playoffs, who's out of the playoffs, who would have to bowl a one-string roll-off, all of that. It's pretty wild. Anyways, that was Josh Rio with a 3-pin on his spare. Sorry, I missed that. No spares for either of our bowlers. Josh Rio will take a 7 box. Right? Yes, Josh Rio will take a 7 box, and Jeff Buggea will take a 9 box. 907. Oh, wait. I need to adjust that. It's Cory Aleci with a 5 fill. Oh, I see where I made the error. My mistake. Forgot to put a fill on Bryan Fuller Jr. Sorry about that. I'll give you guys an updated total in a little bit. Had to just chase an error I made on my scoreboard. 7 box for Aleci. And Southall took a spare. There we go. Now we're caught up in the totals. 924 for Academy 1, 838 for Riverwalk. Cory Aleci dropping 8. Not on a spare. Ryan Southall is on a spare fill. He drops 5. Aleci for the 3-7. I think he's going to get it. There's plenty of wood to help him. He just has to hit somewhere in the stratosphere of the 3-pin, and he does. Southall with a much more interesting and much more difficult shot. He tries it, he plays it, he makes an attempt, makes an offer. The offer isn't fully accepted. They made a compromise. The 3 and the 4 pins for Ryan Southall. Ryan Southall for a 10 box. He misses. That's an 8 box for Southall. By my count, this should be 934 to 851. Hey, we're back in sync. 83 is the match lead for Academy 1. 6 is the game lead for Academy 1. Academy 1 took the first game. And we now now welcome Dean Sullivan and Jeff Walsh back to the approaches of Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's Jeff Walsh on lane 6. The red room dropping 9 immediately, leaving the 4-pin. Dean Sullivan off to the left at the head pin. 1, 3, 8, 9, 10. Interesting leave. Definitely goes to Dean Sullivan, but Jeff Walsh, this is going to be a single pin spare if the wood plays nice. But we're going to find out if the wood plays nice. Will it play nice? Yes, it will. Jeff Walsh will take a spare on that 9 fill. Dean Sullivan will also clean up for a spare. That was a pretty spare by Dean Sullivan. My goodness, that was great. 953 to 861 at this point. Academy 1 up in the match by 92, and Academy 1 up in the game by 15. Jeff Walsh filling a spare. Both bowlers filling spares. He's off to the left, drops 6, 4 horsemen right side. Dean Sullivan on the head pin, drops 9, better fill, left with only the 4. Teammates encouraging him to go get it. Jeff Walsh versus the 1-3-6-10. 1-3 pocket will take it out. And he's too full on the 1 pin, unfortunately. That's where the spare train ends for Walsh. Sullivan on the 4 pin, and he'll take it. That's a spare for Sullivan. That's a good one to sit on. Walsh for an 8, 9, or 10 box. That's a 9 box for Jeff Walsh. 968 to 880 is where we stand. Academy 1 up in the match by 88 and up in the game by 11. Currently with 4 points if we ended the game right now, not counting the total. This is Candlepin Bowling Network, the Friday Night Pro League. This is Riverwalk versus Academy 1. I'm Steve Kelly. Appreciate you having you along, as always. If you're new to watching this, I welcome you to Candlepin Bowling, and I hope if you enjoy the chaos. If you're returning, I appreciate you here as well, as always. We're live streaming on YouTube tonight. Bryan Jr. dropping 6. 1, 2, 4, 9. Makes a good bid, but unfortunately can't do much with it. Ricci versus the 5-7 with a piece of wood that may be deceptive. We'll see how he plays it. He tried to play it to the right. And no spares for either of our bowlers. Fuller Jr. for a 10, and ooh, the wood deflects the ball. Always kind of deceptive how that's going to work. Ricci will take a 10. 977 to 890. Academy 1 up in the match by 87. Academy 1 up in the game by 10. Fuller Jr. on lane 6 in the teal on the right. On the head pin a little too full. It's a spread eagle minus the 2 pin. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Mark Ricci's first ball. On the left on lane 5 in the red shirt. On the 1-3 pocket. Pin falls. 9 drop on the 9 pin, excuse me. Single pin spare for Mark Ricci. Bryan Fuller Jr. with a much more interesting lead. Spread eagle minus the 2 pin. Plays the right side pocket. Leaves the 4-7. Mark Ricci. Single pin spare with a 9, but the wood in front of it, the T-shaped wood in front of it, that might be deceptive. Never count that as a gimme. We'll see how he does. And he takes it. Pinballs it around for a spare. That's kind of action you won't see in 10 pin, folks. Fuller Jr. for an 8, 9, or 10. He'll take a 10. 987 to 900. Academy 1 up in the match by 87. A gap that has been consistent and slowly growing over this past game and a half here. Academy 1 up in the game by 10. Welcoming back J.J. Tourigny and Justin Scali. We're switching back to the top of the roster. J.J. Tourigny on lane 6 in the red. And a washout the left side. Shallow washout, 3 down. Scali dropping 7, 4, 5, 7. Scali's leave is difficult, but he has wood to help him. J.J. Tourigny just has to aim something decent at the pocket, and he does, but he's left with the 6, 9, 10. No spare for J.J. Scali for a 4, 5, 7. Spare leave. He'll take it. Scali is very good with the smooth balls, and he can just aim it just right to the point where it works. And JJ Tourigny will take a 10 box. Academy 1 still up by 87 in the match and up in the game by 10. Cory Aleci seems to be making the most impact at the moment. JJ Tourigny with a bouncy ball. Washes out the left side. Left side wash out on the left half of the deck. Scali filling his spare with with 6. JJ, no spare for him. 1-9. Scali versus the 1-3-6-7, and he'll take it. You always hear the weirdest noises from teammates sometimes during heated moments like this. I've heard hoo-ah. That's an 8 box for JJ Tourigny. JJ having a bit of a hard time getting things started here. JJ's at 80 after 8. Scali's at 84 plus a ball after 8. That pulls Academy 1 over 1,000 pins in the match. 10-13 to Riverwalk's 9-18. Academy 1 up in the match by 95 and up in the game by 18. Saying hello to Jeff Buggea in the red on the right on lane 6 and Josh Rio in the teal on the left on lane 5 at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts in the red room on this Friday night. We mostly have the room to ourselves here. Not a lot of folks other than spectators watching. Makes it rather quiet. A bit more of a relaxed environment here tonight. Both bowlers with interesting shots. Josh Rio with a shallow washout on the right and Jeff Buggea 1, 3, 6, 8, and 10 pins on the deck for a spare leave. I think Jeff's leave is a little bit more certain, but we'll see. Let's find out. Join me and watch. Jeff Buggea, a 1-3 pocket. He hits it right, but the wood doesn't curve over to the 10 pin quite the way we would have expected it to, but I wouldn't have thrown it any differently if you ask me. Josh Rio missing the pocket entirely, leaving the 1, 3, 4, and 7 pins on the deck. Jeff for the 10 box. He'll take that 10 box. Rio trying to salvage a 6 box. He'll take a 7. And that should put us at 1020 to 928. And yes, that is confirmed. Always happy when I'm in sync with the scoreboard. Jeff on lane 6. He's wearing the dark red shirt. Fires. Play action. On the 1-3 pocket, beautiful ball. Drops all but the 4 pin. Josh Rio, meanwhile. A little too full on the head pin, but a bit of a generous drop. 2, 3, 4, 7 on the deck. Let's see what we got. Let's zoom in. Jeff Buggea on the 4 pin. Single pin spare, wood perpendicular in front of it. Should be a layup. Takes the layup just like the Celtics. It's a spare for Buggea. Rio for his follow-up on the spare. And nothing but the 7 pin left for 9 or 10 box. For 9 or 10 box. Josh Rio. Have I been saying Jeff Rio? Sorry, Josh Rio. Too many Joshes and Jeffs. That's a 9 box for Josh Rio. My goodness, yeah. Feel free to light me up in the comments if I get any of these names wrong in terms of first and last name combinations or pronunciations. It's fun learning all this on the fly. Ryan Southall on lane 6. Dropping 6. 1, 4, 7. Oop, pin's still falling. 1, 4, 9. Aleci, meanwhile, will fill his spare with 6. Southall misses everything. Aleci, punch straight out. No spares for either bowler. Southall for the 7, 8, 9, or 10, and he'll take a 7. Frustrating 7 box for Southall. I know he has some trouble getting spares. He's good at strikes, but a little bit has some trouble with spares. Aleci will take a 10 box. 10:45 to 9:45. Academy crosses the match differential triple-digit threshold by 100 and up in the game by 23. Southall having some difficulty with the aim, washes out the left side, the 4, 7, 8. And Aleci is going to take a quick breather, looks like. thinking long and hard about his next shot before he proceeds. And I hear Mark Ricci is telling Ryan Southall to just to slow things down just a little bit, and I agree. And actually they're resetting. I wonder if that was a foul. Okay, we'll find out what that was all about. I missed it, so I'm not sure. Possibly a fouled first ball for Ryan Southall. And a pin's missing, so we gotta reset again. Actually, if I'm fast enough with this, maybe I can now show you the standing slide. Okay, so yeah, you see where Academy 1 and Riverwalk are? So after 8th place, that is the cutoff line. So Riverwalk is at the very bottom of the playoff cutoff line right now. And you'll see their records are very close to one another, 118 to 154 and 114 158. Academy 1 and Riverwalk, respectively. So whatever the outcome is going to rearrange several of these teams' playoff prospects. And I believe Metro might also possibly be still in the mix, but it's all going to depend on the results tonight, not only here, but down in Peabody, Mass. as well. Check out the stream with Greg Gouillart, Paul Grant, and Bob Lee down there if you want to see the results of that. I'd tell you, but I just don't have enough hands and brains to keep up with that action and do all this at the same time, so my apologies. So Ryan Southall dropping 5 on a spare. No spare for Southall. And Aleci, meanwhile, dropping 8-4-7. Southall throwing a hard ball again, though. I know they told him to throw less hard, but that was a pretty hard ball thrown. No spare for Southall. Aleci for a spare lead, 4-7, or 4-10, excuse me. He'll get it. He'll get it. It's 99 plus a ball for Cory Aleci. Southall 67 after 7. And that will be an 8-box for Southall because his first ball was a foul. Poor guy. That's 10:55 versus 9:53. Academy 1 up in the match by 102 and up in game 2 by 25. So far, it's a shutout for Academy 1. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm Steve Kelly, covering this match of Riverwalk versus Academy 1 at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Hope you all are having a good time. Dean Sullivan to the right of the headpin, dropping 6. That's a 6 fill on a spare for those keeping score at home. I like to make that joke. Walsh washing out the right side. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 10. Zoom in on the action here. Dean Sullivan doesn't connect with the object pin and takes everything else out. Don't you hate when that happens? He's left with just the head pin for 9 or 10 box. Walsh on the object pocket, but he's left with just the 10 pin. Both bowlers shooting for 9s or 10s. Sullivan tries first. He'll take a 10. Walsh will not. He'll call it as a foul. Always appreciate the sportsmanship aspect of candlepin bowling, because it's often bowlers' call when it comes to these matches. You know, whether it be going over the foul line, lobbing, or going into the gutter and coming out and taking a pin. We always appreciate the sportsmanship in candlepin bowling. Dean Sullivan on lane 6. And that's a hammer by Dean Sullivan. That was a definitive strike by Dean Sullivan. Sometimes you just got to throw an angry ball to get an angry strike. Walsh will take a spread eagle minus the 7 pin. 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. Ugly spare leave. He tries it, though, and almost does it. He took everything but the 2 pin. Took everything but the 2 pin, and he's going to go and try to curve around and get it. But he'll take a 9. He did the absolute best he could do to take that out, but again, welcome to candlepin bowling, folks. That should be 1073 to 979, and hey, that is correct. That's in sync. Academy 1 is in the match by 94. Academy 1 is up in the game by 17. And as a recap, they took the first game. You can check all those stats out on the little mini map up in the top right corner when we're in the main view here. And Mark Ricci with nearly a hammer, he drops everything but the 9 pin. Bryan Fuller Jr. misses the 1-3 pocket. He's much closer to the 3-6 pocket, dropping 5, 1, 2, 4, 7, and 9 pins. With a piece of wood, wiggling the 2 pin. Mark Ricci, take a spare. So that was a 9 fill on a spare with another spare to add to his ledger. And Bryan Fuller Jr. for an 8, 9, or 10 box. He missed the spare opportunity. He'll clean up for a 10. All right, so that puts us at 1083 to 998. Again, at this point, I sound like a broken record. Academy 1 up in the match by 85 and up in the game by 8. That's your score update on Candlepin Bowling Network. I'm Steve Kelly. Thanks for watching. That's Mark Ricci's 7 Phil. On a spare, he's in the red shirt on the right on lane 6. That's Bryan Fuller in the teal on the left on lane 5. He misses the head pin, but pins are still falling. Generous post-impact pin action. 7 drop for both. 7 Phil on Mark Ricci's spare. And he'll take it. Rather unorthodox play on the shot, but he'll take his 3rd mark in a row. And Fuller Jr., meanwhile, with a mark of his own. That should leave us at 1093 to 1015, and yep, that is correct. Thank you, CompuScore, for keeping me in sync. Academy 1 is up in the match by 78, and Academy 1 is up in the game by 1. Hey, Ryan. Ryan Southall saying hi. Justin Scali on lane 6 in the teal, and JJ Tourigny in the maroon shirt, or red shirt, whatever, on lane 5 on the left. Justin Scali dropping 9 to start out. That's a 9 Phil on his spare that we left off on. It's a 9. That's a 9 drop, and he's going for the spare, and he gets it. It almost looked like it wasn't going to go. That's his 3rd mark in a row for Justin Scali. 3 spares in a row and 4 spares for the game. JJ missing his spare opportunity. 1 and 7. Take an 8 box.
All right, Scout, throw a real one. Come.
That will put Academy at 11-12 and Riverwalk at 10-23. Justin Scali on lane 6 for second box of the 2-box duel that happens 5 times a game. And he's on the head pin again on the pocket, dropping all but the 5. And JJ off to the left of the head pin. I think the nerves got to him a little bit. JJ and I have similar averages in the ACST. We're in the same division, and we're both in playoff contention. So when I see JJ bowl, I kind of see a bit of myself bowl in a lot of regards, and that comes down to the nervousness as well. Justin Scali on the 5 pin for a spare, and the wood does not. Ooh, look at that. Look at the ball still on the deck. And JJ, well, he connects with the head pin. Justin Scali, the ball is still spinning. I think the ball may have to be removed. That's part of the rules. If it doesn't excuse itself from the deck. Mark Ricci is walking down to investigate. We'll see we'll see what happens, or this will be the slowest spare of our lifetimes. He's taking a look. You know, technically, I think there is a rule where, although that's right, opposite teams. Someone on your own team can't go down to do any lane maintenance during an active box, I don't believe. Someone quote me on that, but I remember that being in the rule book. Justin Scali will miss that 5 pin. It was just for a 10 box, so we'll take a 9. So let's see, that's a 9 fill and a 9 box for Scali. 121 for Scali, and a 5 box for Tourigny. Right, yes, Tourigny will finish at 93. So that's 11:30 to 10:28. 102 match lead for Academy 1. 25 game lead for Academy 1. That's Josh Rio on the right, Jeff Buggea on the left. Josh Rio punching out. But Jeff Buggea is filling a spare right now, mind you, to remind you. Jay a little full on the head pin, but still dropping 7 regardless. Still a good fill. Puts him at 88 after 8. Rio trying to convert to a spare, but leaves the 7. Jay for a spare leave, 6, 7, 10. He fires, tries it, plays it. I wouldn't have done it any differently, but he's left with just the 7 pin. Both bowlers with the 7 pin for a 10 box opportunity. Rio tries first. Rio will take a 9. Buggea, 9 or 10. Take a 10. So that puts us at 11:39 to 10:25 and 49 to 472 in the second game, respectively. Academy 1 still up in everything. 94 in the match and 17 in the game overall. Appreciate you watching. That's Jeff Rio in the teal on lane 6 and Jeff Buggea in the red on lane 5. He drops 8, 5-7. 5-7 are the pins standing, that is. Jeff Buggea tried to put a spin ball on the head pin, but he hits a little bit too full. That's a spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Left side setback for Josh Rio. And he takes it. He conquers the setback. Spare for Josh Rio. Jeff Buggea. Spare leave. Doesn't do much with it. Takes out only the 3 pin on the eagle. Injures the eagle a little bit more. Somebody call PETA. For a 10 box. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 box for Jeff Buggea. And 8, 9, 10. He sure wishes that was the second ball, but he'll finish with a 108. My goodness. 108 plus a 101 plus a ball for Rio and 108 for Jeff Buggea. Players from both teams congratulating that shot. That was a pretty shot to watch. Rio's spare fill is a 4. He tried, but he'll finish with 105. That puts Academy 1 up in the match by 98 with 11:53, and in the game they're at 5:03 against Riverwalk's 42. Academy 1 up by 21. Appreciate you watching this Friday Night Pro League. Riverwalk at Academy 1. I'm Steve Kelly on the mic. Cory Aleci. He, well, took some pins out, and that was a spare fill of 3. Ryan Southall, late falling 8 drop. Cory Aleci, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Bouquet plus of pins. No spare for him. Left with the 7-9. Southall for his spare bid, and, well, he knocks the 6 pin into Kingdom Come, but 10 pin is left. The corpse of the 6 pin in the right channel. Aleci will take one out for a 9 box, and so will Southall. 11:65 to 10:64 is your current match total. 5:15 to 491 in the game, respectively. Again, not much has changed. Academy 1 up in the match by 101 and up in the game by 24. Cory Aleci fires. Play action. Pin still falling. Right side setback 5-10. Ryan Southall, same leave. Matching right side setback 5-10 leaves. If I could pick one and delete the other, I would select Ryan Southall's one connecting piece of wood, because that's why I wouldn't have picked Cory Aleci's right there. So Cory Aleci whiffs his spare opportunity. Ryan Southall, we'll see how he does it. Ryan Southall throws a hard ball, so I'm a little worried about how this is going to end up. We'll see, though. That's Ryan Southall for his spare opportunity. But he gets it, though. Plays it right. Hits it just full and straight enough. So Aleci will finish with a 10. Southall is on a spare with a fill to go. Trying to salvage the point differential, but it's looking increasingly bleak for Riverwalk. I won't say it's impossible, but it's looking bleak, especially after 4 points are locked in for Academy 1 game-wise. Southall will try as he might, but he'll drop 6 on that spare fill. That puts Southall at 100 for a 2-game total of 219. 95 is the overall match differential. 2 bowlers left to go in the second of 3 here. 4 boxes for both teams remaining. Jeff Walsh on lane 6. Wild pitch to the left. Washes out the left side plus some of the back row. Dean Sullivan on lane 5 drops 7, 3, 4, 6 on the deck. Jeff Walsh for the spare opportunity. He cleans up. Nice clean wide shot. 102 plus a ball in the 9th for Jeff Walsh. Dean Sullivan for his strike fill completion is an 8. Not a bad fill. 109 after 8 for Dean Sullivan. Shooting for a 10 box now. And it will be a 9 for Dean Sullivan. All right, so that puts us at 1185 to 1097. Academy 1 up in the match by 88. Academy 1 up in the game by 11. 535 to 524 is the game 2 total so far. Academy 1 and Riverwalk, respectively. Jeff Walsh dropping 7. A rather quick 7. It's not a tight 5, it's a quick 7. Dean 7 on the Dean Sullivan. Left with a 7 drop, the 5, 6, 10 on the deck. Jeff Walsh, this might be a layup spare. I like the wood, I like the placement. It was the 4, 6, 7. He gets it. That's another spare for Jeff Walsh. His fourth of the game. But Dean Sullivan won't take that lying down. He'll also finish with a spare. 2 bowlers on both teams, both finishing with spares in the 10th. Dean Sullivan, 128 plus a ball, and Jeff Walsh, 119 plus a ball. Jeff Walsh filling a spare. Filling a spare. He's off to the left of the head pin. Looks like a 4 fill for Mr. Walsh. Sullivan, ooh, 2 fill. Left side half Worcester. 1206 to 1109. That is confirmed. Academy 1 up in the match by 97, up in the game by 20. And there are 2 boxes to go for our anchor bowlers before we conclude the second game and tally everything up. Mark Ricci is at 105 after 8 plus a ball. Bryan Fuller Jr. is at 86 after 8 plus a ball. Both bowlers on spare fills. Starting now, Bryan Fuller filling a spare. Bryan Filler, you might say. He drops... Jesus, he drops 5. 5 for Fuller and 4 for Ricci. And Fuller, though, will clean up and have another shot at it. Another spare. Ricci, now the pressure's on. Spread eagle. No wood. He tries it. He plays the left, but he's just going to have to clean up for a 10 box now. 7, 8, 9, or 10 box opportunity for Mark Ricci up against Bryan Fuller Jr.'s double spare. And Mark Ricci filled his 3rd spare in a row with a 4. And he'll clean up for a 10. Nope, he won't. Sorry. 9 box. My brain thought 10. My eyes thought 9. 1221 to 1122 is the current total between these 2 bowlers. These 2 teams, that is. Not 2 bowlers. I'm too used to calling ACST matches if I get some terminology flip-flopped. Please forgive me. That's a 7 drop for Bryan Fuller Jr. Mark Ricci with a 9 drop. A very elegant 9 drop, dropping off with a 2 pin. Bryan Fuller Jr. versus a triangle. 3, 5, 6. He'll take it. 3rd mark in a row for Bryan Fuller Jr. Mark Ricci versus the 2 pin. This should be a layup, especially that perpendicular wood. He'll take it. Yep. 3rd bowler on both teams to finish on the 10th box with a spare. So none of these bowlers are taking anything lying down. But again, Academy 1's match lead is becoming a major problem for Riverwalk. It's so far a runaway for Academy 1. It's an 8 drop for Fuller Jr. And a 5 fill for Ricci. All right, so after 2, completion of 2, Academy 1 will take 4 points. 1246 to Riverwalk's 1137. In the second game, Academy 1 finished at 596, and Riverwalk finished at 564. Academy 1 up in the match by 109. Up in the game, the second game, wins the game, second game, wins the second game by 32. We're going to move on to the 5th and final game now. Just bear with me while I just walk down to the 3rd game here. Welcome to the 3rd game. That's J.J. Tourigny on the right, 137 after a 7 drop. Justin Scali with a strike. Justin Scali, unstoppable tonight with the strikes. J.J. Tourigny for the 137. And he'll play it for the spare on the 1-3 pocket. Ryan Southall trying to reinvigorate J.J. Tourigny. These 2 guys are buddies, trying to psych each other up. That's what we like to see in Kennelton bowling. Some camaraderie, a little bit of rivalry, but it's all in the name of good competition here on the Friday Night Pro League. At Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, J.J. Tourigny filling his spare with 6. Pins falling a little bit late, but Justin Scali punching right. Thank goodness you get a second ball in the strike fill. J.J. Tourigny versus the 2-3-4-7. And he plays it, but he's left with a 3, so no spare for J.J. Tourigny. Scali on the 1-2 pocket. Left with the 5, the 6, and the 10, pin still wiggling. No spare for either bowler. J.J. Tourigny for the 10 box. I'll take a 9. Scali. That's a 7 fill and a strike. And he'll take it out. He'll clean up for a 10, making the pin setter's job easy. That's 1273 to 1162. Academy 1 is up in the overall match by 111 and up in the game by 2. Doing some rearrangement of the bowling balls on the ball racks of Academy Lanes. The ball racks are a little bit short, and when you have a full stack of 5v5, it can get quite crowded on the ball returns. Jeff Buggea dropping 6, dropping 7, late falling 7th pin, 6, 7, 10. Rio, 7, 8, 9. Can I get 10? Can't quite. The wood that's rolling towards the 10 is still settling. Jeff Buggea is looking at a 6, 7, 10 with a piece of wood across the 6 pin in front of it. Mark Ricci says go as far right as possible on that piece of wood in front of the 6 pin. I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll find out. We'll see who's the expert. Well, it starts with hitting it, unfortunately. That's -2 for Buggea. Rio for his spare. He doesn't get it either, neither bowler. So Jeff Buggea is on -2 because he fouled the second ball. And, ooh, boy, that's a 7 for Buggea, I believe. That will be a 9 box for Rio. Maybe. Yes, 7. They keyed it in as a 9, and I was like, wait a minute. I saw that foul. You should have seen that foul, and they did. They saw it, so. No worries. So 1282 to 1169 is where we stand with the total. Academy 1 is locked in 4 points so far, taking the first and the second game. Jeff Buggea dropping 7, dropping 8. 3-6. The 3-6 Mafia. Josh Rio dropping 5. Verizon checkmark plus the 9 pin. Jeff Buggea for the 3-6 pin spare leave. Josh Rio versus the 5-6, 3, 9, 10, and Jeff Buggea doesn't get it. 3 pin stands tall. Josh Rio tries to convert the right side hay bale and doesn't quite do it. The 5 and the 3 pins are on the deck. Jeff Buggea versus the 3 pin though, meanwhile, and he'll take a 10 box. Pins it out for a 10. Pinning it out is good. Josh Rio for 8, 9, or 10. He'll take a 9, somewhere in between. All right, so we're welcoming back Ryan Southall on lane 6 in the red and Cory Aleci in the teal on lane 5 on the left. Ryan Southall misses to the right of the head pin. That's the 1, 2, 7, 8. Cory Aleci, meanwhile, what a bomb of a ball. He throws everything but the 7 pin down to the depths behind the deck. And Southall drops everything but the head pin. Aleci for a spare bid. He'll take it. Aleci starts with a spare. Ryan Southall starts with a 9. 1188 to 1301. That is confirmed. And this third game here, we have Academy 1 at 55 and Riverwalk at 51. Southall fires. Pin still wiggling, deliberating. 5-6. Aleci misses the head pin. 1, 2, 7, 9, 10. Or what he has to contend with. Southall is a very difficult spare leave here. Kind of tries to blitzkrieg it down the lane and hits nothing. Aleci versus the 1-2-7-9-10. Aleci takes all but the 10 pin out. Hits the right pocket, but 10 pin doesn't cooperate. Southall will take all but the 5 pin for a 9 box. Aleci for a 9 or 10. It's a 10 box for Aleci. Excuse me, I have to correct the fill value. There we go. All fixed. 13-16 to 11-97. Academy 1 is in the match, up by 119 and up in the third game by 10, but it's still early. But at this point, Academy 1 is batting 1,000 in terms of points. Dean Sullivan in the red on the right on lane 6. Jeff Walsh in the teal on the left on lane 5. Dean Sullivan on the pocket, right on it, all but the 3 pin falls. The 6 pin, I think, sorry. And Walsh takes 4 out, spread eagle, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Dean Sullivan for a spare, and he gets it. I was almost concerned about that wood there for a brief hot moment, but it went. Jeff Walsh trying to convert the spread eagle for a spare, and he takes out all but the 3 and the 6. It was a good bid. Pins almost came around to rally, but no such luck. 8, 9, or 10 box for Jeff Walsh. He'll take a 10. Solid 10. Better than a liquid 10. So yes, so if you like what this place looks like, this is Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, since 1963, and there's an awesome bar at Academy Lanes called Pub 125. Sitting with JJ in there earlier, and JJ got a burger and fries and looked awesome, really, really appetizing. Actually, I'm kind of kicking myself for not getting one myself when I was there, but yeah, that's Academy Lanes. There's a lot of lanes at Academy Lanes, 40 some odd across the 3 rooms. Dean Sullivan drops 8 on that spare, and he'll clean up for a second spare in a row. Jeff Walsh is looking at the 5-7-10. Some call this the Matt Susi special, but he's got some wood. I guess Matt Susi is apparently pretty good at getting this. Jeff Walsh will complete the Susi special. It's on the menu for a spare. That puts Academy 1 at 13:36 and Riverwalk at 12:25. Academy 1 still pulling ahead in the match by 111. End up in the game by 2, 90 to 88 respectively in the third game for the total so far. 2 boxes in. With the anchor bowlers yet to bowl, we have Mark Ricci on lane 6 in the red on the right, and Bryan Fuller Jr. in the teal on the left on lane 5. I'm Steve Kelly. Hope you're enjoying this match. Mark Ricci on the 1-2 pocket. Nice elegant ball, drops all but the 6 and the 10. Bryan Fuller Jr. trying to follow up. He's to the right of the head pin, washes out the right side perfectly, and the right half is gone. Mark Ricci versus the 6 and the 10 pins on the deck. And he will get it. It's a spare for Mark Ricci. Bryan Fuller Jr., no such luck. He's left with the 1, 2, 4, 7, 5, 8. For a 10 box for Bryan Fuller Jr. First box will end up being... Somebody just opened a door and it got really cold in here. That's an 8 box for Bryan Fuller Jr. Wow, yeah, it's cold outside tonight. Jeez. We're 13:44 to 12:35. Academy 1 up in the match by 109. In the game, they are tied 98-98. Mark Ricci fires. Play action. Lane 6, 6, 9, 10. 7 drop for Ricci. 7 fill on to spare. Bryan Fuller Jr., that's the 4, the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 10 pins he has to contend with. Mark Ricci for a second spare in a row. Will he get it? He misses to the right. Punches the ground in frustration. That's a move that I make sometimes when I bowl. And Fuller Jr. takes a few more out, no spare. Mark Ricci for an 8, 9, or 10. And it will be a 9 box for Ricci, the owner of Riverwalk Lanes in Amesbury, Massachusetts. Fuller Jr. will take a 7 box for 15 after 2 for Fuller Jr. 13:51 to 12:51. A difference of 100 for Academy 1 in the match. Academy 1 has 4 points thus far. Riverwalk up in the game by 9. That's Justin Scali on the right in the teal shirt on lane 6, and JJ Tourigny on the left side in the maroon shirt on lane 5. Down there, I'm Steve Kelly back here. Scali dropping 9, a wiggly 9.5. The 10 pin is wiggling. Swear it could still possibly fall down the way this room plays. JJ drops 7, 1, 6, 10. Piece of wood out of play. Continue our lecture here. So yeah, there's three rooms in Academy lanes. Oh, sorry, I thought they were going to pause for lane maintenance. Scali with a spare. Okay, now we can pause for lane maintenance since they're actually clearing it. So Academy Lanes has plenty of coaching programs. Actually, a lot of folks in the Friday Night Pro Leagues actually coach a bunch of programs for kids here at Academy. So bear that in mind. It's always good to give back to the Candlepin community in that regard. Sort of like the NFL in that regard. JJ won't get a spare. He's left with just a head pin on lane 5. For the 10 box, he'll take a 9 box. 34 after 3 for JJ, 37 plus a ball for Justin Scali. And then if we talk about teams-wise, we're at 1361 to 1260. Academy 1 up in the match by 101. Riverwalk up in the game by 8. Scali filling a spare. 5 drop, 6 drop. 4 horsemen right side. Tourigny had a bit of a stutter step. A little bit too full in the pocket. 2, 4, 10. Scali versus the right side 4 horsemen. 1, 3, 6, 10. Misses the 1, 3 pocket. Connects with the 3, 6, 10, leaving the 1. JJ Tourigny misses everything. Left with a 2, 4, 10. Scali versus the head pin for a 10 box. He'll take that 10 box. JJ will take a 9 box. 1377 to 1269 is your score update. Riverwalk is up in the third game by 1, 132 to Academy 1's 131. Thank you for watching this match. I'm Steve Kelly. Hope you all are having a great time out there. It's Josh Rio in the teal on lane 6 on the right, and Jeff Buggea in the maroon shirt on the left on lane 5. This is Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. The Friday Night Pro League. Playoff implications for both of these teams very close to one another, and the cutoff line of the playoffs is very near for both of these two. Josh Rio drops 8. Jeff Buggea drops 8 as well. Neither ball on a fill. 2-7 for Josh Rio. Takes out the 2, leaves the 7. Jeff Buggea versus the 4-7. No wood to help him. But it should be a layup, just a double stick spare opportunity. He fires, and he gets it. Buggea has his first spare of the third game. Rio will take a 9 box. Ryan Southall remarks to Buggea, that was huge, and they needed that, and I agree. Riverwalk doubling their lead from 1 to 2 in the third game, 142 to Academy 1's 140. Academy 1 up in the match by 147, 1386 to Riverwalk's 1279. That's your score update provided by Candlepin Bowling Network. CBN, the place to watch the bowlers. Check out Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube. You may already be there because we're live streaming to YouTube. Check out some of the other matches. I don't know, maybe check out some of the matches I streamed for the ACST. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like Candlepin Bowling. Go to candlepin.org if you think bowling's your thing and you think you can bowl better than these guys. There's a lot of bowling centers around. You click Go Bowling on candlepin.org and find a center near you and get in on this fun action that we all enjoy. So Josh Rio is working with a 7 drop, and Buggea 6 fill and a second spare in a row. It's a 7 box for Rio. I feel Riverwalk might still have some life in them. Doing some good marking and pinning. They have increased the game total from 2 to 11 in those 2 boxes there. 158 to 147 respectively. They're still down in the overall match by 98, but you know what? This could be a bit of a Cinderella story if we see them somehow start to retake the match in the game. Because if they do, they could take 4 points, you know. Third game is a 4-point game, really. So, Cory Aleci drops 7, 1, 6, 10. And Southall will punch out the left side half Worcester. Aleci won't get the spare. The 10 pin stands tall. Southall misses the head pin to the right. The 1-4-5-7 are what's left on the deck. Aleci versus the 10 pin for a 10 box. He'll take it. Aleci pins it out. And from what I heard from Justin Scali just now, apparently Metro is up overall. That's a 6 box for Southall. Score-wise, we are at 1403 to 1301. Academy 1 up in the match by 102. Riverwalk up in the game by 7. Scali. Or no, it's not Scali. Aleci. 4-3-7. 7 drop. Southall on his ball. Dropping 7. These are symmetrical shots. 7 drop for both. Southall 4-6-10. Aleci 4-6-7. Beans the 6, leaves the 4 and the 7. There's Mark Ricci with a Dunkin' coffee. I knew he would pull through, being the North Shore man that he is. Providing some coaching to Ryan Southall. And Southall takes one more pin off of the road. Again, these shots are symmetrical. 4-7 and 6-10. Aleci will take a 10. Can Ryan Southall do the same? Let's find out. And he can't quite do it. The ball comes around. So Southall will take a 9. Aleci will take a 10. 14-13 to 13-10. 103 is Academy 1's match differential against Riverwalk's. But Riverwalk is up in the game by 6, so they could stand to take 2 points. We'll find out. We still have plenty of the third game to go here at the Friday Night Pro League here at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. My name is Steve Kelly, in case you didn't know, on the mic. Live coverage. Juxtaposed with the match in Peabody, Mass at Metro Bowl with Greg, Bob, and Paul. Jeff Walsh dropping 7, Dean Sullivan dropping 7. Walsh was on a spare, so that's a 7 fill, and Dean Sullivan was also on a spare, that's a 7 fill. Hey, making my job easy. Check out the leave situation. That looks like the 8-6-10 for Jeff Walsh. Will it go? He drops off with a 10. Dean Sullivan versus the 2, the 4, and the 6 pin. Dean Sullivan for spare. He's a little bit to the left, but it's enough. The 6 pin wiggles, but oh my goodness, it doesn't fall down. It even touched it. The piece of wood even flew over and touched it. Jeff Walsh will clean up for a 10. Dean Sullivan will take a 10 box of his own. 10-10. 14-30 to 13-27. That's your score update. 190 Riverwalk, 184 Academy 1. Academy 1 up in the match by 103. Riverwalk up in the game by 6. Jeff Walsh, lane 6 in the teal shirt to the right of the head pin, and he drops 4. 4 horsemen left side in the 9 and the 10. Dean Sullivan on the 1-2 pocket. Oddly, going up the hill, according to Mark Ricci, dropping all but the 4 pin. Walks up and down the hill. Jeff Walsh for the spare bid. It was a tough one. He's left with the high-low jack 1-7-10 for a 10-box opportunity. Dean Sullivan versus the 4 pin for a spare. This is a spare shot. This will be big if he can get it. Dean Sullivan shoots. He scores. He gets the spare. Sullivan will take his 3rd mark of the game. 3rd mark in 4 boxes. Walsh will take a 7 box, missing the high-low jack entirely. And 14-37 to 13-37. Riverwalk is elite. They are up in the game by 9. They're at 200 even. Academy 1 at 191 in the 3rd game. They're still up in the match by 100 overall. They grabbed that match lead early in the 1st game. They held on to it and ran with it. They're still running with it, all intents and purposes. Bryan Fuller Jr. on the right in the teal shirt. Mark Ricci on lane 5 on the left in the maroon shirt. Mark Ricci with a bomb of a strike. He calls it the Missileless Missile. Fuller Jr., no spare. This could be big for Riverwalk. Fuller Jr. versus the 4-6 for a 8, 9, or 10 box. He'll settle for, my goodness, an 8 box, leaving the goalposts. That is 14-45 to 13-47 at this point. That Academy 1 match lead is very slowly going down. I don't know if there's enough boxes to make that up, but we'll find out. Bryan Fuller Jr. on lane 6, dropping 8, 4-7. Piece of wood still rolling towards the 4. I don't think it has enough force to knock it down. Mark Ricci will get a double. He's to the left of the head pin. Left side half Worcester, 2 down so far. He has 2 more for the strike fill. Fuller for his spare shot. He'll take it. That's a spare for Bryan Fuller Jr., the first one of the game for him. And Mark Ricci completes the trip to Worcester and then some. What even is that? The 1, 4, 6, 7, 10. That's a 5 fill and a strike, unfortunately. And it'll be a 6 box overall. Yikes, a gnarly series of events for Mark Ricci. 47 after 4, and Bryan Fuller Jr. is at 33 plus a ball after 4. 14:55 to 13:58. Riverwalk retains the game lead by 12. Academy 1 up in the match by 97. 221 to 209 for the game totals, respectively. Riverwalk, Academy 1. That's JJ Tourigny in the maroon shirt on the right on lane 6, and Justin Scali in the teal shirt on the left on lane 5. This is the Friday Night Pro League. I'm Steve Kelly. JJ drops 5. 4 horsemen left side in the 9 pin, and Justin Scali will drop all but the 1, 3, 6, 7. JJ tries to run down the left side 4 horsemen, but misses the captain, misses the head pin, and the 9 pin just hangs out in the back. Scali for his spare shot, 1, 3, 6, 7. A little too full, leaving the 6. No spare for either bowler. JJ Tourigny, 1 in the 9 for a 9 box or 10 box. 8, 9, or 10, that is. He'll take a 9. Scali for a 9 or 10 on the 6 pin, and it will be a 9 box for Scali. $14.64 to $13.67. Current running grand totals for both teams. It's still the Academy 1 show for the most part. Dunking on Riverwalk tonight for sure. It's JJ Tourigny with an 8 drop, 7-10. The 7 pin, I swear, is leaning a bit. We'll zoom in on that, actually. Look at that 7 pin. It's definitely got some degrees of angularity to it. Justin Scali drops 9. That's... Justin Scali drops 9 with a 10 pin. A lot of wood in front of it, but JJ will take a pretty spare on the 7-10 with wood. Scali, meanwhile, this might be a deceptive shot. I don't know if this is going to go. Yeah, that was precisely what I thought was going to happen. He decided to throw hard at the center point of the wood, and unfortunately it didn't take out the 10 pin. Just kind of danced around. There's still wood in front of the 10 pin for that matter, and he misses. That's actually a 9 box for Scali. Whiffing it both times. 14.73 to 13.77. Academy 1 retains the match by 96, and Riverwalk is pulling ahead in the game by 13. So it's interesting. Riverwalk is gaining, but I don't know if they're gaining fast enough at this point. They would have to have some incredible final few boxes here. It's Jeff Buggea in the maroon shirt on the right on lane 6, and Josh Rio on the teal shirt on lane in the teal shirt on lane 5. 7 drop for Buggea. 1, 2, 10. Rio pins are still settling, but it looks like the 2 and the 10 are all that's left. That's a 7 fill for Buggea. Rio was not on a fill. Buggea will take the spare. It creeps around. 3rd spare in a row for Buggea, pulling his weight. Rio trying to match. Can't quite do it, though. God, I love Mark Ricci's remarks and comedic lines. Whoever writes them, fantastic. Rio will take a 10. I can't really repeat them on mic to try to stay SFW, but I love Mark Ricci. He's so freaking funny. The most North Shore man I've ever met in my life, I will tell you that. He's drinking a Dunkin' coffee. I heard all that, don't worry. The mic didn't, but I did. I was telling him I heard all that, the mic didn't, but I did. Or maybe it did, I don't know. I have the gain turned down pretty far on the mic tonight. Jeff with a 6 drop, that's the 2, 6, 7, 9. That's a, 6 drop. What even is that? The 2, 7, 9, 6. And Rio with a spread eagle, 4 pin spread eagle, 1, 5, 8, and 9 got knocked out. And Jeff tries the best he can do, and the 9-pin even gets touched, but he's left with a 9-6. No 4 spare in a row for Jeff. Rio already got those pins. Nothing in the second ball. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 spread eagle. The American Eagle. I was always more of an Abercrombie person myself. That's a 10 box for Jeff Buggea. And a 4 box for Josh Rio. My goodness. 32 is now the game lead for Riverwalk. You know what? I think they might have a chance at this point. This is going to be something. I'm looking at that match lead by Academy 1 creep down inch by inch. And I tell you, they might have enough boxes to do it. If Academy 1 starts to have boxes like that, you never know what's going to happen here. Okay, that's Ryan Southall in the red shirt, maroon shirt on lane 6 on the right. He drops 8 rather handily, 6-10. And Aleci on lane 5. He misses the headpin off to the left. That's the right side. 4 horsemen, 1-3-6-10. Southall for a spare leave. And he'll try to get it. He'll get it. Southall coming in when his team needs him most. With a spare, and Aleci punching full on the 3-pin and nothing else, leaving the 1-6-10. Cory Aleci will clean up for a 10. It was an excellent 10 bid. It's his 4th 10 box in a row, and he's still technically bowling a perfect game. His perfect box percentage is nothing but perfect with all those 10s. We got Ryan Southall on lane 6, and that was an interesting. It's a 4-fill for Southall. He missed the headpin to the right. Aleci punches out left side half Worcester. I think the fatigue is settling in on Aleci. He's overthrowing. Southall versus Southall will convert it to a spare. And he's just mad at this point, but he's getting the rage spares all the same. 2nd spare in a row for Southall, and Aleci suddenly having trouble here, which he was doing incredible before, but now I don't know what's going on. So 7, 8, 9, or 10 box for Aleci, and he'll take 2, surprisingly. I thought he was going to take 1. 9 box for Aleci, but his first not 10 box of the match, of the game, that is. So Riverwalk goes up to 37 in the game lead, and Academy 1's match lead drops to 72. 1506 to 1434, respectively. 297 to 260. Riverwalk to Academy 1, respectively. So I'm going to show, so again, check out this map. I didn't show you the visual before. Check out candlepin.org and click Go Bowling to find your nearest center if you think you can bowl better than the pros or just want to bowl with the pros, meet the pros. I don't care. If you want to bowl, here's the map. Also, check out candlepin.org. Plenty of places to check out. So Dean Sullivan, ooh, that was an interesting array of pins that he dropped. That's a 3-fill. That's a 3-fill after all said and done, and that's an 8 drop for Walsh. Dean Sullivan, 1, 5, 3, 7, 8, 6, 10. He'll drop all but the 6 and the 10. Walsh versus the 9 and the 10 pins. Both bowlers shooting for. No, Walsh is shooting for a spare. Excuse me. And he nearly gets it. It was a good bid. Offer not accepted. Now Dean's shooting for a 10 box versus the 6 and the 10. He'll take a 10 box. And Walsh shooting for a 10 box of his own, and he will get it as well. Both bowlers with 10 boxes. 15-16 to 14-47. Riverwalk now retains the game by 40. Academy 1 in the up only in the match by 69. That match lead is dropping, and it is dropping fast. So let's see if that can maintain for Riverwalk, if they can have a come-from-behind victory. Dean Sullivan dropping 8, 5-8. Jeff Walsh dropping 6. Neither of these balls were fill balls. Dean Sullivan versus the 5 and the 8 pins on the deck. And Jeff Walsh versus the 3, 6, 4, 7 pins on the deck. Lanes 5 and 6 at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's Dean Sullivan on the right shooting for a spare. He needs a spare. He gets the spare. Dean Sullivan's 4th spare in the game. And he also has a perfect game so far because the boxes that weren't spares for Dean Sullivan were 10s. Perfect box percentages off the chart for Dean Sullivan right now. Jeff Walsh, not a similar story. He'll take an 8 box. That's big for Riverwalk. Look at that. The lead drops to 67 for Academy 1, and there's also the fills to factor in. Riverwalk up in the game by 42. I think there's a chance. I'm not great at math, but I'm just watching these differentials slowly shrink. That's Mark Ricci on lane 6. Academy lanes. And he drops a hammer right when Riverwalk needs it once again. So Ricci with the hammer strike. Fuller drops 8-1-8 on the deck. He's shooting for a spare, and I got Ryan Southall here.
I'm just trying to see how this thing works, that's all.
Oh, okay. So Bryan Fuller. Yeah, it's chaos, but it's organized chaos. So Bryan Fuller's shooting at the 9-pin for a 10 box.
8-pin.
Is that the 8-pin? 8-pin, excuse me. Yes, you're right.
Just kidding, though. You can.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah. The 8-pin, but
Yeah.
you know.
So that is an 8 fill 10. Thank you, Southall, for teaching me where pins are. Look at that. What a bro. Ryan Southall. Mark Ricci on the head pin. 5-6-10. 7 drop. Ryan Fuller Jr. Ooh, right side hay bale plus a 7 for Ryan Fuller Jr. So Ricci is filling a strike. That's a 7 drop so far. If he gets a spare, that could be enormous for reclaiming some pins lost in the match lead in particular. Mark Ricci, see what he can do. Can he make some magic with this? He tries. It was a good attempt. It was a solid attempt, but that's a 9 fill in the strike. Mark Ricci, the miracle man. Ryan Fuller Jr. trying for a spare. Tries a little too hard, leaving the 5 and the 9 pins on the deck. Ricci will clean up for a 10. He was and he's remarking he should have done that for the second ball. Fuller Jr. will take an 8. And check this out. Academy 1's match lead has dropped to 64. Riverwalk is up in the game by 49. 1550 for Academy 1, 1486 for Riverwalk, 304 for Academy 1, 349 for Riverwalk. If Riverwalk can continue the streak of marks that they've suddenly kind of woken up on, I think there's a chance they could take the match lead at this point. That's Justin Scali on the right. The thing about Justin Scali, my nickname is Scali, and when I hear Scali, I get somewhat confused. So Justin Scali dropping 6, and then JJ Tourigny dropping all but the 1 and the 3 slowly. So Scali. So Tourigny, that was an 8 fill on the spare. Scali trying to go for the spare, and he misses the 10 bin. Takes everything else out, and JJ for a second spare in a row, capitalizing on the invigoration that this team has suddenly acquired. Mental toughness. That's what Bill Belichick once said. That's a 9 box for Scali. There's no I in team, but there's certainly an M and an E. And when you're bowling 1-to-1 head-to-head, you got to have the me's all squared away. And certainly when you have 5 me's, you have a team. You also have a T and an M. And an E and an A. Spelling. It's Justin Scali with a strike. Slow-moving strike, but Scali will get the strike. JJ will fill that spare with 6, for that matter. Tourigny. He's dropped the 2, 4, 7, 10. You know what I kind of like about this match? The bowlers across both teams are congratulating one another, and everything here feels pretty good overall. You know, attitude-wise, everyone's just kind of encouraging one another regardless of what team you're on. That's what we like to see in Candleman bowling. JJ tries for that spare, and pins dance around and even make a couple of laps around the deck, but he's left with the 2 and the 7 pins. And he'll take a 10 box. Tourigny making a valiant effort, 96 after 8. Where are we in terms of the overall matchups? Academy 1's match lead has dropped to 49. Across this third game, it's gone from the 90s-ish down to 49. And Riverwalk is up in the third game by 60. Third game is worth 4 points, so they could walk away. Both these teams could walk away with 4 points apiece, effectively deadlocking. And I don't know what the results of the Peabody match is, unfortunately, but if anyone wants to fill in that data in the comments, go ahead. So Rio, oh boy, both these bowlers with Odd leaves. Rio with a right side shallow washout. Jeff Buggea with the right side 4 horsemen, along with the 7-8-4, and Rio will clean up for a spare. Buggea will take a few more out. 1, 4, 7, 8 for a 10 box. Six, 7, 8, 9, or 10 box for Jeff. He'll leave the head pin on the deck for a 9 box. And that should be 1579 to 1529. That is confirmed with CompuScore. Academy 1 is up in the match by 50. Riverwalk up in the game by 59. That's pretty wild. 392 for Riverwalk, 333 for Academy 1. Josh Rio. On lane 6 on the right in the teal shirt, he drops 7, 2, 5, 7. Jeff Buggea. Off to the left of the head pin, but he drops 7. Generous drop, 1, 8, 9. These are spare leaves for both of these bowlers. Josh Rio misses to the left, leaving the 2 and the 5. Rio, 1, 8, and 9 on the deck for a spare leave. This could be huge if he gets it. He gets it. That's it for Rio. That's a 7 fill and a spare overall. And oops. Excuse me. No, I'm going to walk that back a bit. No, just kidding. Sorry, I think I got a little confused in my own scoring there. I'll give you an update in a little bit as soon as I just confirm that it's okay. Yes, we're back in sync. I'll give you the update after this. So Southall. Is that a spare? That's a spare by Southall. That was an 8 fill spare. These are huge when it comes to making up the differential. Aleci will take a 10 box. For 74 and 7, Southall at 75 after 7. Aleci wide right, just on the 10 pin and the 10 pin only. Southall off to the left, but a generous drop. It's a 5. That's 5 more for Southall on the fill. And Aleci 3, 6, 7. No spare. Southall, can he get the spare this? Ooh, boy, I was going to say that would have been enormous if he had gotten it, but it's okay. He's left with an 8, 9, or 10 box possibility. Aleci, 3, 6, 7. And he'll attempt to get it. He'll take a 9. Aleci will take a 9 box. Southall will take a 10 box. Academy 1 match lead is only 42 now. But at this point, we may be running out of boxes, so it's going to be close. Definitely going to be close. 16-14 to 15-72. Academy 1 match lead 42. Riverwalk's game lead is 67. Academy 1 does have 4 points locked up from earlier. They won the first and the second game, but this third game, this is the big deciding game. Jeff Walsh dropping all but a bouquet of pins on the deck, and Dean Sullivan, similar story. Dean Sullivan with a 3 fill awkwardly. Walsh with a spare on that awkward first drop. Dean Sullivan trying to convert it, but he's left with the high-low jack 1-7-10. No wood to help him. 1-7-10. This is the classic WCVB Channel 5 Don Gillis shot, the high-low jack 1-7-10. Difficult shot to make. And he misses it. He'll take a 7 box. Academy 1 retains the match lead by 42 at this point. Jeff Walsh on the 6-pin, on lane 6, I mean, and he fires in. Wow, I thought that 7-pin wasn't going to fall, but that's a strike by Jeff Walsh. That is actually a strike on spare for that matter. Dean Sullivan dropping 6. 1, 2, 4, 7. Dean Sullivan. On the left side, 4 horsemen. Dean Sullivan shooting for the spare, and he can't quite take the 7-pin out, fortunately. Dean Sullivan will take a 10 box. And that is 1644 to 1592. Academy 1 is up in the match by 52. And Riverwalk is up in the game by 57. 455 for Riverwalk, 398 for Academy 1. And our anchor bowlers are returning to the approaches. We have Bryan Fuller Jr. on the right in the teal shirt on lane 6, and Mark Ricci in the maroon shirt on the left on lane 5 at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts in the red room. I'm Steve Kelly. Thank you for watching on Candlepin Bowling Network. CBN, the place to watch the bowlers. That's a 7 drop for both of our bowlers. Neither are on fills. Let's see what Bryan Fuller Jr. can do to convert the 2, 4, 6. He's left with only the 4 and the 6. Mark Ricci versus the 7 and the 8 with wood. Deceptive wood for sure. And he tries to... Wow, that was definitely something. That piece of wood went forward then backward. Fuller gets a field goal. We can't give him 3 points, but how about 8? I'll award 8 because I can. Feeling generous. Mark Ricci, though, will take a 10 box. So that puts Riverwalk at 1602 and Academy 1 at 1502. 50 separates these two teams for the extra 2 points for the grand total. Fuller drops 6. 1, 2, 7, 10. And Mark Ricci attempting to get a strike, and the 6-pin oddly doesn't fall. I thought that would have been the one that would have fallen as opposed to the 7-pin. The 7-pin drops. Fuller Jr. needs the spare. And will it go? It's a slow-moving, methodical spare for Fuller Jr. He steals it. That's a spare. Ricci will take a 10. Match differential is still 50. And there are 10 boxes to go for both teams. Riverwalk is up in the game by 59, but down by 50 in the match. So they may take 2 points, but I don't know if they're going to take 4 points at this point unless something incredible happens here. We'll see, though. They've made an excellent comeback attempt here. That's definitely something to be remarked upon. J.J. Tourigny on lane 6. 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10. Scali throws the ball way too hard. Punches straight out the center for the spread eagle. A 3-pin spread eagle. Not even a complete spread eagle. JJ versus a smattering pins. I don't even know what even happened there. That was a weird noise I just heard. 1, 5, 8, 9, 10 for JJ. And Scali sails right through the center of the eagle. No spare for either of these bowlers here. JJ will punch one out for a 6 box. Throws a little bit too hard. Scali with the same problem. So Scali had a 3 fill and a strike, and he'll finish with a 5 box. My goodness. Where are we? So 52 is still Academy 1's match lead at 1670 versus Riverwalk 1618. JJ will drop all but the 6 and the 10. Scali, meanwhile, in progress. He fires. Play action. Same thing. Another 3-pin spread eagle. Same pins drop. My goodness. Scali's having no luck. He's just throwing a little bit too hard. JJ Tourigny for the spare. And wow, he connects with the 10 but not the 6. No luck there for JJ Tourigny. Scali, meanwhile, sails through the center again. He is batting 1,000 on the headpin shots. If only the headpin was actually there. JJ will take a 9 after all said and done. He will conclude with a 111. Scali, meanwhile, takes another 3 box. Oh, no. Oh God, some humorous NSFW retorts are exchanged. Scali knows what he did. He finishes with, oh my God, he finishes, wow. He finishes with a 101 with a 5-box and a 3-box. That's a collapse from Justin Scali at the end right there. That drops the match lead down to 46 for Academy 1. Oh, this is some Candlepin comedy right here. Jeff Buggea on the fill, spare fill. This is big. It's a 7. It's an additional 7. Added to the ledger. Rio throws a bomb and leaves the 6-10. Jeff Buggea versus the 2-4-5. Piece of wood across the 2 and the 5. Will he get it? Might get it. Oh my goodness. He hits it right, but the 4-pin stays on the deck. Rio. He'll get his spare, meanwhile. Buggea for 9 or 10. He'll clean up for a 10. 112 after 9 for Buggea. 84 plus a ball after 9 for Rio. 1683 to 1644. The match lead for Academy 1 has dropped to 39. It's dropped substantially this game. Riverwalk up in the game by 70. Jeff Buggea to the left of the head pin. 4 horseman right side plus the 8-pin. Rio filling a spare. Pin still falling. It looks like it's going to be a 7 fill. Buggea, 4 horse on the right side, and the 8-pin. Will he get it? He's on the object pin, but hits it a little bit too awkwardly against the wood. The 6, 8, and 10 pins are left on the deck. Rio against the 4, 7, 8. The 8-pin just wiggles and wobbles, and the ball is mockingly rolling back. Buggea cleaning up for a 10. He'll take an 8. Pins have suddenly gone dead here at Academy Lanes. Rio will take a 9-box. 1699 to 1652. 47 is what Academy 1 is up by. 6 boxes to go. The door is slowly closing for Riverwalk to close up that lead at this point. I won't say it's insurmountable, but it would effectively take a miracle at this point for Riverwalk to overcome that comeback. Anyways, that's Ryan Southall on the right on lane 6. Dropping 9, a handy 9. 5-pin is wiggling and wobbling with a piece of wood next to it. Cory Aleci on lane 5 on the head pin 1-2 pocket. 5, 6. Now the 5's down. 6, 9, 10. Southall for the spare, and he'll take the spare. And Aleci for the 6, 9, 10. And Aleci will not get it. He's on the object wood, the object pin, but it scatters around the 9-pin and doesn't take the 9-pin. Aleci versus the 9 or the 10, and he'll take a 10. Where are we at? 47 is still the match lead for Academy 1, but there's still a fill ball for Ryan Southall. If Ryan Southall can get hot here and prop up Dean and Mark, we might have a game here, folks. Southall filling a spare. Punches a little bit too hard. That's a 5 fill. Aleci also punches out. Now he's got the spread eagle disease, the 3-pin spread eagle disease that has suddenly been spreading around Academy 1. Ryan misses a spare, leaving the 2 and the 4. Aleci trying to convert the eagle for a spare. He actually doesn't sail through the center like Scali did. Southall will take a 9-box. Aleci versus the 2, 7, and 8. He'll take 2 more out for a 9. Aleci will finish with a 102. Southall will finish with a 114. And it's currently 42, the match lead for Academy 1. 17-18 versus 16-76. Riverwalk on the game by 67, but trailing by 42. Saying hi to Dean Sullivan on lane 6 in the maroon shirt. Jeff Walsh in the teal shirt on lane 5 on the left at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I'm Steve Kelly on the mic. This is the Friday Night Pro League on Candlepin Bowling Network, live on YouTube. Be sure to share with your friends and family. If you want this match on VHS, I'll definitely try to make one for you, or DVD, or whatever format you prefer. But we're live streaming for now. Dean Sullivan with a rather unfortunate right side half Worcester shot. Trying to catch it for a spare. He leaves the 7-pin. The 7-pin only. Jeff Walsh, he's second ball of a strike fill. He fills it with 5. Dean Sullivan for a 9 or a 10 box now on the 7 pin. He'll take a 9 box. Walsh, meanwhile, for the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, he'll take a 7. Academy 1's match lead is at 45. And Riverwalk is up in the game by 64. Thanks for watching. Hope you appreciated this match as we kind of wind down, coming down to the final few boxes. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, I invite you to strike, comment, subscribe, ring that bell on Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, and check out the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour on Facebook as well. We live stream to both. Sometimes we simulcast to both, but plenty of Candlepin Bowling content almost daily and almost always live and available for watching anytime afterwards. Dean Sullivan missing a spare opportunity. Jeff Walsh cleans up for a spare. Dean Sullivan shooting for a salvage mission here. 1, 3, 6, 9, 4, 7. He'll take an 8 box. He'll finish with 115. And Walsh still has a fill ball, but for the moment, Academy 1 is up in the match by 47. Walsh on the head pins, 7 drop, 7 fill, that is. He'll finish with a 121 in the third, rallying towards the end. 1747 to 1693, Academy 1 and Riverwalk, respectively. Academy 1's at 501, Riverwalk at 556, up in the game by 55, but down in the match by 54. Academy 1 retains that match lead. Mark Ricci on lane 6. And Bryan Fuller Jr. on lane 5. This is Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. My name is Steve Kelly. Appreciate to have you along for the final 2 boxes here. The Friday Night Pro League. Mark Ricci on the head pin, dropping everything but the bouquet on the left side. Fuller filling a spare. He'll drop 4 after all said and done. Ricci versus the 4, 5, 2, 7, 8. On lane 6, it's a spare leave. See what he can get. Ricci misses the object pin. That might be it for, I think, yeah, that's definitely it for Riverwalk at this point. So that's at least going to be 4 points for Academy 1. We'll tally all that up at the end, though. Mark Ricci will take a 10. And Fuller Jr. will take a 10 of his own. So, congratulate Academy for their overall victory. They're not going to take the third game, but they took the first game and the second game and the total at this point, because Riverwalk can't make up 58 points in a triple strike. And that basically locks it up. It already did before, but, you know, Mark Ricci drops 6. Bryan Fuller Jr. on the head pin, dropping 9. Oh, yeah, it's locked up at this point. All good. So, Mark Ricci versus the right side check mark. 3, 5, 6, 10. Going for it, and he'll take it for a spare. Consolation spare for Mark Ricci. Bryan Fuller Jr., though, will also get a spare. No mercy from Bryan Fuller Jr. towards Mark Ricci. They both have 1 ball to go before we're done for the night. 1771 to 1713, plus whatever extra ball each of these bowlers throw. Congratulations to Academy 1. Riverwalk will take 2 points for the night. Long story short. Bowlers just joking around before they throw their final balls here. Mark Ricci on lane 6. Final ball of the night. Throws it, filling a spare, off to the right of the head pin. It's a 4 fill. It'll be an 8 fill for Bryan Fuller Jr. And that is going to be it. Final total, 1779 for Academy 1, winning in the match by 62. And Riverwalk will finish at 1717. Game 3 total 580. Game 3 total for Academy 1, 533. And let me show you the final stats while we're here. See if that shows up. There we go. So anyways, these are the final stats. It's going to be 6 points for Academy 1 tonight, 2 points for Riverwalk. And that should be about it for all of us here at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I've been Steve Kelly. Hope you all have enjoyed this broadcast and Candlepin Bowling as a whole. And if you liked this content and want to see more, definitely also, first of all, check out candlepin.org and click Go Bowling if you actually want to go bowling. That's always appreciated. And also check out the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook, as well as Candlepin Bowling Network's YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Candlepin Bowling Network. Be sure to strike, comment, and subscribe. And also check out the Skin Show on Candlepin Corner for their productions as well. So from all of us at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, for Team Riverwalk and Team Academy 1, I've been Steve Kelly. It's been a pleasure broadcasting this for you tonight, and we'll see you at the next Friday Night Pro League and in the playoffs. Have a great one, everybody.